I've tried in any way I could to make you see how much I love you. I thought you understood. I just got to know. Ooh, baby, how I love you so. I'm gonna play for you. Da, 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 da. Shotgun, showing for it runs now. Do the work, baby. Do the baby. Do the work now. That's a Junior Walker. Thank you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. And sending out that trident energy, sending out that pure energy of the Virgin, baby. The Virgin is the thunderbolt. Put the thunderbolt in your consciousness. Make this be one of your fractals, baby. And we give you the power of the diamond so you'll amplify your intentions. And then we give you the full energy of the Virgin. All the power wounded together. Those of you that are deep enough that want to take a ride through this, is a mantra for you. We also give you the Virgin sound. So we try to penetrate. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Um, guess I'll put some light on it. Welcome. Guten morning. This is your Chocolate Mountain Show. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am super funky host. 8Wind is timeless. Big Pontiac, Time Lord, however you know. I'm also the holder of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and all the Chocolate Mountains to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to beyond. And tonight we have a special beer, and it is still Red Axe Irish Ale from Moose Lake, Minnesota, which is north of the Twin Cities, probably like a little bit northeast. So pop them if you got them. And I know how you're going to feel after seeing me get all this beautiful redness. And that is the difference between a red ale and a Pilsner. And just wish that you had the Applebee's Detroit Lions logo from the 50s. And you could wish that you could be me. And you can't be me because I have this glass and you do not. And so if I spell this ambrosia, you just wish you could be me and sitting here having this rich ambrosia that you do not have. And tonight we are still getting it on with herbs, edibles. They're about to come out with this stronger ones in a couple weeks. So smoke them if you want them. So welcome, Ricky Smooth. Shit. Hey, where I took that picture, you ain't going on the beach up there. It's too goddamn cold even in the summertime. That was on Lake Superior. That was up there on Lake Superior. You don't go in the water in Lake Superior unless you fall off the boat. The water be always too cold. Deep as hell up there. Good fishing for sure. But yeah, it ain't a swim place. Not Lake Superior. Good stuff. But yeah, that's it's in the summertime, but like when I took that picture in the Twin Cities, it was like around 85. By the time we went up to Duluth, it was like 70 something. So we went on the Lake Superior. By the end of it, because this is a couple hours, you just ride around the lake. And by the end of it, we was all down below. It was too cold to be up there. Hey, what's happening, PJ? How you doing? You see where I was just watching some reruns, Skip, and then seeing Sharp, and you know his brother bald. He got that fake hair up there, but they was talking about LeBron for KD. Yeah, where does that make sense? They just be making up shit to give people shit to talk about. Because some of that shit don't be making sense. Oh, that's right. He's 12 ounces. Okay. And on deck is Vanilla Porter from Breckenridge Brewery. I think Breckenridge might even be in thought. Yeah, they're in Colorado too. They make pretty decent beer. But yeah, I saw that today. Today, pretty mild for me, just work. Got a few things done before work. But yeah, not a whole lot going on. Got a lot of reading in. It's going to be hot here the next 4 or 5 days. We get pickleball in tomorrow. Try to get it in before it gets too hot. I was going to go in the morning, but it's going to rain in the morning. So I'm going to try to get out there about 1. It probably won't be terribly hot by then. Try to avoid the 4 or 5 o'clock. Because that real humid heat might come out. Might go to the lake Saturday, Sunday. So chill at the lake. Might take the grill up there. Chill at the lake. So it's all been going on up here. Not a whole lot. Just trying to be the best person I can be, y'all. That's all. And yeah. I was about to join and I paused only to say, like honest as I can be, I guess we can still be honest. All of us can still just do our own way. It's like, as long as your thing don't bother me, do your thing, baby. You know, whatever your thing may be, do your thing. I will not judge you. I have a lot of friends that's goofy people, but they still my friends. And that's how life should be. Have good friends. I don't have many friends, but the friends I have are good friends. United Drills of America, what's happening, man? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Your pictures, you scare me. I was like, man, be like, oh, how can I deal with you? You look like you would be a menace. Nah, I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. I'm just talking shit. I like your picture. Because if that's you, I accept you for who you are. And that's all we can do is accept everybody for who they are without judgment. Actions, actions call judgment, but as long as the actions is cool, you can't make too much judgment about that. I think I got this piece of copper in Michigan too. Copper is some of the finest copper in the world is found in Michigan. So I got into before talking about the giants and stuff and how they found their copper all over the world. How they found copper from Michigan in Kemet. They found copper from northern Michigan down in Louisiana, Mississippi, and all up the what's called the Mound Builders of Mississippi Valley territories. You find in copper. I'm a reformed Pookie. You reformed Pookie. Okay. 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 That's funny. That's funny. Like I think Brother Nick put out a story, and I know a personal experience very similar. I coached a boy. He was a freshman in high school. I had the freshman football team. And actually, it's a combination because then the freshmen were still at the high school, so it's kind of a combination. I could use eighth graders too, so it's eighth, ninth team. Seventh graders had to play still, what we called Michigan Rocket football. But I dug him, had fun with him. He never missed a practice. He enjoyed coming to see me every day. I'd put on a forearm pad, knock him down, because a lot of times we didn't have enough people to practice. So, I'd put on a couple forearm pads and let him, I'd knock him down, tackle him without equipment. But just really trying to get him prepared the best way I could. And young man ended up having, I think he had a jealousy over women, and he killed this brother named Peter. He killed him, shot him in the groin. In my understanding, Peter was messing with some old lady. Well, the young man never got charged for killing Peter. Everybody knows, but apparently the city could not find enough to prosecute him. And so this guy never got charged for that. He ended up selling some dope, doing some years for the dope. This young lady that had a baby by him, this cat probably was in prison 5-6 years, if not longer. It could have been longer, but at least 5 or 6. She helps. So this woman I know helps get him out. The baby mama helps get him out. And why is it that, dudes be out of prison for a few months, or the person that helped him get out of prison, because she did some extra shit, got him in some programs, she helped him get out. Gave him a place to live, And as soon as he gets out, he starts seeing these other little things. And before you know it, he done moved out a chick to help him get out, And then she's all on Facebook, boo-hooing and shit, calling him a killer. Wait a minute. When you was getting him out, you didn't call him a killer. But so I know a story very similar to what I think Brother Nick put out there. And know the people and the players. And chick crying on Facebook, about that. So, let me say again. After your many years, what's your go-to ritual when you have lack of motivation and inspiration? We all have mind blocks. You know, like the one thing I find that takes away the most from fear is just remember that you're abundance. I think remember that you're in abundance. Remember that you can love and be loved because you can't, you know, you got to be able to love to receive love. You know, you can't receive love unless you love. You know, it's a block if you unless you do. I mean, you can fake it, but to truly receive love, you got to be, you know, you got to love, no doubt. You got to love. And so that's some simple reminders. Is the biggest reminder is fear, no matter what the fear is. Their easiest program is actually is the money thing. That's always their easiest program to try to put fear in you, you know. So, but that's probably my go-to one. Now, as I said before, you know, if I ever feel anxious or you know whatever, this Ligram does kind of knock it out. So I guess that's the biggest reminder is the fear thing. And I say the other thing I've said this before is cancel that. Because a lot of times you get these suggestions, you know, these attachments start giving you suggestions and you start canceling. I've said that before. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I use cancel that, you know. So yeah, that's one of my go-tos. And um reminders too, daily. It's like some work I gotta do now where, you know, and this like quantum of science says some shit. I thought I was the only one that went through this shit. I really did. Where he talks about it took him like 20 minutes to put in some batteries just to find out that the machine he put the batteries in really didn't work or whatever anymore. But it is such a thing that thing. It is what he talked about. I completely understand because I can't tell you like I can't. Okay, let me say this. Can't tell you how many times I get frustrated like finding stuff. I'm pretty good at knowing myself, and that's another thing. Is you know yourself, you know where you put anything, but things can get cloaked. I've noticed that it's trickster energy that can kind of come around you, and then this trickster energy can cloak things. And I know things. I was looking for something the other night, and it was like as I was on air, and I was like, they done cloaked something. But he makes a point that I've found this out for years. It's like little irritants when you be fucking with stuff. I don't know if it's a package. I don't know. I just always find that there are just little irritants always out there to try to make you feel, to make you frustrated, you know, to really make you frustrated. There's a lot of little irritants that this thing purposely does. This thing purposely puts little irritants in you, you know, around you. They purposely put little like little needles to try to jab you all the time, but little irritants. So those kind of things, you know, and I normally meditate before I go to work. You know, I'll take about another 40, like before I go to work, usually take like 30. I'll take between 15, 30, 45 minutes and meditate, you know, just to try to get my mind straight. I still meditate almost daily, so that helps. So conquer fear and learn to reciprocate love, definitely. Oh, there he is, the Mac Bones. Wasn't a fight over females found in garbage dumps, dumpsters, and trash cans. Hose, ratchets, and Mew Waters, Boop Keep Shikas, and Lucretia's. Well, you know, when the MacBone files come on, you know, it's time to give out the Jaguar transformational energy. Have to give that out. You know, the bound heads, yeah, which we find with the mound builders. Yeah, they don't like to tell you that. And they find the stuff from Mexico with the mound builders too. But, you know, so I give you that transformation energy. You know, I give you this fractal of the transformation, the true energy from the omen or the omic to you. As Brother Magbone always calls it, you know, the Jaguar priest, you know, pushing that Jaguar energy to you. And I say, you know, part of the hero twins, you know, this helmet represents him actively imitating the hero twins. That's why they want to be shown as this, as the ball player. That is them imitating the hero twins. That's what the helmet is for. The helmet is for the ball player. But the ultimate ball players was the hero twins. So they, of course, are going to be shown wearing the helmet. So if you don't know this, you can't really talk about the spirituality of what they felt and why. The why. And then the goofy Moors, that's one thing that's goofy about y'all. Y'all try to say that the one dude, and I should have brought the picture, that he's got like a fez or no, he don't. No, he don't. No, he don't. It's just design. It's just design. This is all about being like the Hero Twins. If you study it, you see. Why is that? No Moors had that the early face mask. No Moors had that. They don't even know about that. So it's just a fez, but that's still there. So how can it be a fez if that piece is there in the picture? Y'all want to wait? I can go get the picture. So we give that out, no doubt. Hey, Siova, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. I hope all things is good in the big city. I might have to come up there and beat you in one-on-one, Siova. We'll go to Rutgers Park, go hoop. No, it's a helmet. It's a helmet. It's definitely a helmet, Vodka. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. But yeah, Siova, I might have to come up there and hoop with you. Big Pontiac, one twin would be the sun, and the other one would be the moon. Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. I can dig it. You grew up around Rutgers. Yeah, I went in. Golly, I played with. Ended up playing with some of the A&T dudes. Joe, them cats was from Royster. Was from Mount Vernon. Yeah. Was Joe from Mount Vernon too? No, Harold Royster was from Mount Vernon. But we A&T got a lot of brothers from that came out the city. A lot of Joe Bronner or Joe Binion. I can't think of what city he's from, New York, but we had a lot of brothers out of the city. Royster was like a little bit older than the McCray brothers. I think he went to he was a little older than them because Royster was probably he was either junior or senior when I went to college. So McCray brothers was my age, but they was all they had to have played against him at one point. But yeah, I went down there with some of the A&T cats, and we played in a few games. It was fun, I'll say this for all the West Coast people, they didn't play soft like the West Coast people. New York didn't play us as physical as Midwest as I'm used to playing, but not as soft as the New York dudes. you know the Dave Chappelle thing where they go to do the picks. Remember that? And he was doing like that's how California dudes set picks. They just they really don't want to set the pick because they don't want the contact. Well, at least when I played with them, they didn't want the contact like that. And people don't realize, like Dr. J was straight up Connie Hawkins, and then the people that even came after Dr. J's kind of gang, and that kind of gangs lasted for a long time, and even through James Worthy and Mark Aguirre really had that Dr. J kind of, that Connie Hawkins first, putting the ball out there because that's Dr. J copy Connie Hawkins were, putting the ball out there, floating with the ball out there, and then punching. Hey, Jody, I'm sorry if I didn't say hello. How you doing? Hope everything's well with you. Those polo grounds near Rutgers is hella wild. Oh, okay. But I can say about in my life, I got to hoop in New York. My mother lived in D.C., so shoot, I hooped in D.C. a lot. My brother did too. My brother hooped up doing it in the dark, doing it after park. Oh yeah, Rock Creek Park. Oh yeah, Silver Springs. My mother was living in Silver Springs. She lived in D.C. for a minute too, but my brother was hooping up there. But I hooped in D.C. I hooped all over the country, but especially when I was young, up and down the coast. Florida, Mississippi. I've hooped up a little bit of everywhere. Football mostly in the Southeast, a little in the Midwest, but mostly in the Southeast. Never played football out. The furthest I played football west was Texas, I guess. The most I just watched Louisville versus Houston NCAA tournament '83. Great game, great teams. Rodney McCray was on that team. Brothers were both very good. Yeah, they were very good players. They had Never Nervous Purvis. And Never Never's Purpose too. Wasn't he on that team? Wasn't a good pro. And that's how they rob them. You know, they let these cats get these NCAA tournaments, and then they don't be good pros sometimes. Not saying all. Magic was a rare example of a champion. I would say that Magic. I don't even know if you put what Bill Walton being a great pro. I mean, Bill Walton had a good season, couple good seasons in Portland. But rarely do you see the combination. Now Jordan was another one. They let win both. Very rare. I guess Magic and Quinn Buckner was the only ones that went from winning the high school championship, winning the NCAA, and then winning the NBA Finals. It was only them two at the time. I don't know. Scurry brothers, the Scurry brothers in New York as well. Okay. I know a lot of dudes. Matter of fact, one of my imams, could hoop. He was from New York. I was trying to think. His name was Clark Baldwin. I forget what his Islam name was, but he could hoop. He was a little older than me, but he was, the one that was taking me to Winston to go to the mosque. He introduced me to the mosque that was in downtown Greensboro. Was him. I would have never known any of those people I ended up meeting was all through him. But he could hoop too. He could hoop. They didn't like the way I hoop. No, I never saw Earl play. Oh, okay. He was on the 86 team. Okay, I got you. He was on the 86 team. Okay. You ever see now many go, the first time I heard of Mini Goat was through there used to be a thing called Sports Magazine, and they had the article in there about him. This cat that had this 50-inch vertical that was only about 6'1", 6'2". Really, if you looked at Mini Goat's energy, the energy winning David Thompson is definitely the same kind of guy. Mini Goat never was able to be Mini Goat, but David Thompson was, if you understand that. And even if you look, because people forget at one time, David Thompson was the highest paid NBA player at one time until injury. Well, he got thrown out of Club 54, broke his leg. They threw him down the steps because you had to go up. It was little clubs where you had to go up the stairs to get into the club. And he got thrown down the stairs. Probably cocaine related, but if if you really want to know what type of player Mini Goat was, just look at David Thompson. You get a true idea of that type of player. Again, in the book Foul, well, somebody said that it was Globetrotter, Jumping Jackie. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I am pretty sure that in Connie Hawkins' book Foul, he says that Mini Goat blocks the shot. Now, maybe in Wilt's book, he says Jackie blocked this shot, but I'm pretty sure in Connie Hawkins' book Foul, he says Mini Goat blocked Wilt's shot. Because I know that somebody corrected me before, but I think they're wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Mini Goat that blocked this shot. Because Mini Goat was the only dude that played high school. He was the first dude to play in that Pro-Am league in New York that was still in high school. Like Jason Kidd later did. So now he was a little older than me. Yep. Warren, also know Pimp God has a new channel. Warren B. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Yeah, I saw Sly's thing. I was trying to describe that to my friend, and she was tripping off that. She was like, damn. So, I saw it. Yeah, I was like, damn. I don't know. That shit still is. Like, how do you even think of some shit like that? It's like, her mouth's open and no breathing tube, and I can give her a little something. Like, that's some bold shit. That's that's the bogartest shit in the world. How's a dude that much of a bogart where he's just it's like the dude who start doing it, to corpses and shit. It's like the first one, she looked kind of good and the shit is, I guess ready and jumps on it and it's moist. Like, hey, I did one, I can do more. Well, remember in Kill Bill, the beginning of Kill Bill, that's what was happening. They was, dudes was pimping out the girls that was comatose. I don't know, that's some cold shit though, I don't know. I don't know if I quite believe that story, but it's like, can you imagine the nurses plotting against him? See, there's like, you know what he back there doing? He's sticking his shit in the patient's shit, you know, and he saw him, he's doing like this, and you know, even though the sheep was there. So we're gonna put a phone behind him and we're gonna catch him. And so they all in the operating room looking at each other and they're seeing the weirdo back there behind the curtain and shit. He's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. He's moving and shit. Turn your head a little, baby. Oh, that shit's wild. That shit is wild. Oh, that is just too wild. Oh my goodness. That shit's wild, the motherfucker. Thank you, brother. Macbone. Yeah, that shit's wild. I don't know if I believe that shit. That shit. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. I don't believe in anything, but I just as a true story, I'm not. I have some doubts of that shit. That shit is doubtful. Humorous, nevertheless. Like one of my best high school jokes was the teacher said the word hideous, and I asked, "What does it mean?" So, and she said, "Just," she said, "just the most ugly, the most horrible." And then I followed that with "like your face." I just told the teacher that her face was hideous. And she sat around. Everybody in the class laughed and shit because the shit was funny. She didn't kick me out or nothing. She just looked at me because she answered my question. So she fell into my trap. So she's like, damn, she had to take that one. And she didn't laugh, but she didn't kick me out of class because she liked me. Generally, people liked me when I was in high school. I didn't get in any fights. I got in fights in the summertime, but as far as school fights, I can't say I really got in a lot of school fights. When the summertime, we had gloves, so we would fight all summer. It's me. I was playing Ali and George. John Farmer was playing Frazier. The only difference is I was beating up John Farmer pretty bad. And my brother got me. So my brother was probably 4 or 5 years old. I had gloves, you know, they like show him how to punch. I think he already knew how to punch, but I'm like, okay. So I tied the gloves on one hand, I tied the gloves on the other hand, and then trying to think how I did it. I think I pre-tied mine a little bit, so I was slipping my glove on. And so I looked down and put my glove on, and this little fucker rears back and pops me in my goddamn nose. Like I'm not looking or nothing, and it's like pow, you know, like pow, you know, like the Batman would put the pow symbol. He just pops me in my nose. He liked to say he made my nose bleed. He didn't, but he did pop me. Like, what is wrong with you? You know, I ain't get mad or nothing. I'm like, what is wrong with you? What you hit me for? He's like, he was looking at me, you know, like, yeah, that's what they for, to hit you. Yeah, you hit me when I got mine on. But he got me good. He got me good. I wouldn't expect it. Like, oh, he got me. That happened probably 50 some years ago. And we still remember. Mac has attributes of ladies man, player, politician, and a business entrepreneur. That's what I was saying. You know, I was talking about last night. You know, like, I guess I'll go a little bit more on this. So, what I was seeing is like what a lot of dope dealers didn't understand that the players understood is as the Kane dudes was going to the big fights and stuff and was seeing these really, 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 I don't know if you want to call them women that would be around. A lot of them didn't understand that it just the enticement of the cane and the money wasn't that exciting for everyone, especially some bad chicks. If you didn't really have a game for it, because that's how a lot of them was coming at them, where, you know, I got this cane or I got the money. You know, it was so they a lot of them to me fell short in that aspect. They didn't realize to get really these chicks that be all over the world and plug you in like that. They didn't understand when the money didn't work and the dope didn't work. They didn't really understand what to go to next because they really didn't have that pimp gene in them. You know, they had their aim became, you know, because again in their small world those two things worked. And so once they found in another world, okay, let's even say it like this: once they got into a world where everybody had that, You see what I'm saying? Everybody there could have that. They could not, a lot of dudes I saw couldn't stand out. When it was all equal, everybody had the money, everybody had the drugs. You saw who the real players was when everybody was equal like that and could still move and still attract people and have people move with you. Some dope boys fell short because they only had one go-to. You know, that was they was used to their go-to was the one go-to. Now I know you see the stories about dudes years after, you know, my reign or whatever you want to call it. But I got to see that up close. I definitely got to see that up close. So you got to have something else there. When all things is equal, what makes you different? It's like when the rams want to mate, you know, when the female rams is ready and they get the bucking head, you know, what makes you different? When we all got horns and we all can hit heads hard, what makes you stand out? What makes you get chose? And Edward, brother Edward would definitely, or brother Macbone, he would definitely understood this because dudes don't even know, like, sometime in life you get chose by 2 or 3 women and you may really only have relationships with 2. But the other 2 that choose you, you benefit from knowing them. You understand? Like they choose you and they may not choose you in that sexual way, but they choose you another way where they fit in what you do. And again, when you're talking about your aim, your aim may have not been to pull them 2, but the way things worked, you just had to pull them 2 to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And again, families choose, you know, you go around, the family chooses you. You know, she done choose you, and then there's a benefit where the family choose you too. That, you know, that's a great way to go into it. If she bring you around, they happy you bring, you know, they happy you around. Because you bring value to her, but you bring value to the family. That's the way the Blue Bloods kind of did it. That's the way the mafia kind of looked at it. What value are you bringing to the family? And, you know, old-fashioned wise, you know, that is really why marriage is stronger than just living together. I mean, we live in society today that says live together instead of getting married. But when it broke down, you got married because it did. I mean, remember one time, you know, the women had to pay the men a bunch of stuff, you know. They had to give them a bunch of stuff. If I said, you know, my great-grandfather had to give his father-in-law 100 and some acres, maybe it was even 1,000, I forget. But it was also females' family had to pay the males, you know, pay the male. They giving them all the stuff in their crib and shit. A lot of ways that it went. But that comes from marriage. That don't come from living together. So I don't know if people really remember that. So it brings like even my one thing that my family did, like even my great grandparents was 2 of the older families that was in Michigan. 2 of the families that came in Michigan in the 1850s was the Russells and the Ampies. And we pretty much, they almost damn near took the same track, other than the Russells came a couple years later. But obviously they knew each other because the Russells came from the same part of North Carolina. So they obviously knew each other and learned that trail and came over. And so 2 of the oldest families got together and married in. So I'm not against marriage. I've been married 3 times. Must not be. Just couldn't get the shit right. The path of the Mac is holistic. It's the path of being a real, complete, thorough man. Well, what did he say? I'm a classic man. I'm a classic man. And I thought that song was so powerful, the message, you know. Now, you know, the suit that we wear is some Mason shit. Y'all know that. The suit and tie is that George Washington Mason shit. Y'all know that. That's the uniform of a Mason. The suit, tie, and coat, which has never changed since George Washington times. You think how women have dressed all differently? Men, and again, probably starting with my generation, dudes quit wearing suit jackets and we wear dress up like jackets and hoodies. But basically men's clothes ain't really changed. Now the suits, you know, lapels big, little, shirts, but the basic idea of a suit go back to George Washington, and that shit is, you still see that's the costume you gotta wear in some instances, is a suit and tie, and that ain't changed. Women's clothes completely changed, not ours. As I said, you watch the Three Stooges, no matter what type of job they did, them dudes always wear a suit and tie. They hitting each other upside the head, but they always got suit and ties on. And I'll say this, I met a dude, the dude in the Nation of Islam. He wore a suit and tie every day. When we worked for the water department allowed for you to, they provided coveralls, and he would come to work. Once they got to working, working in the ditches, putting the pipes in, he would put the coveralls on, put his boots and everything. But under everything was a suit and tie. And this is in North Carolina. But, oh, you know what? That ain't even hey, what's up, Pontiac? Just wanted to see you still got it on the court. Oh, I ain't really got it. I can always dribble, but, we're going to play indoors, and I'm going to get in shape, and I'm going to really bake him because I can shoot. He can't shoot near well as I can shoot. I can shoot. So he can't handle me when we go inside. But thank you. I try. Dress of the Nation of Islam is based on Freeman's. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I was talking about what seems so childish when you really look at black fraternities and even sororities with the hand signs. I mean, how is it that gangs use the Masonic hand signs? It's the same signs. All these signs the gangs show is the same Masonic hand signs, and the same with frats and sororities. They all use the same hand signs. Why is it? Why is that? See, suit and work, and that's another level of cooning. A suit and the work. A suit to work, that's another level of cooning. Well, it's the George Washington. It's the George Washington for sure. Hey, Bob Kahn. Hey, OTF. It's definitely the George Washington. No doubt it's that. I remember my dad had about, I don't know, he had probably 60 suits. I think when I was coaching high school, I probably had 30, 40 suits. Yeah. Because I had even though I had gained weight at one point, when I got into coaching, I was hooping every day, so I had lost. So it's been big times in my life. I think, wow, I had been up to 250 when I quit playing, and I got in shape around the time I, 87, 88, hooping every day, coaching, playing semi-pro and coaching. Man, I was hooping. I remember I bought from here in Minneapolis, I had 2 suits made from Dayton's. Yeah, from Dayton. And then I took them back to Michigan. Nice, because I remember I bought my ex-wife, I got her these riding boots. And damn, I'm trying to think of the outfit I got her for her birthday. She probably still got this. I can't think of designer, but it was some designer shit I got in Dayton's here. I never wore a suit, even when I went to court. I wore suits. I mean, when I was in college, we had to wear suits. When we traveled, we wore suits. But I bought suits before then. As I said, I bought my prom. I bought 2 suits to go to my prom in '79 that I got out of Jewtown in Chicago. Handmade, tailor-made suits. I mean, that's a good feeling. I'm going to say that. That's a good feeling when they pinning you up, making you a suit, and the shit fit like they make it. Because I looked at a dude on TV the other day. His shit was too tight. Didn't really fit right here. Because he tried to have his shit buttoned, and you looked at the dude next to him. His stuff was draped nice, but his button was kind of, I don't know if he gained weight during the show. What's your thoughts on the gods of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? The God of the Bible has been my only true relief. Well, Devin, I've said it many times before. Crap. To truly understand, even I guess I want to say this too. Okay, I'll tell you exactly. So what is the movie on Netflix called? Everything All at Once. So in Everything All at Once, Quantum broke it down. And I talked about it a little before, but one part that he made me realize, and he didn't even know how to break it down, is, okay, so So the daughter who ends up being the original, the primal source of it all says she's made a mistake and she put the code on a biscuit or some shit. And that's very much like Sophia. It really is. It's Sophia creating something outside of herself that it made the other entities aware that this being was created. But once this being was created, this being thought it was different from everything. It didn't know really any other God, even though it knew its mothers existed and something existed, you know. So what you have to understand the word Yadabath, you really got to understand the word Yadabath. I guess another word they put it is demerge, but it is that being, and I guess you could even say Marduk because it plays that part as well. But it's the same part that talks about a jealous God. And why would a God need to be jealous? You know, why would a God really need any kind of ritual or tribute? I mean, if you was a God, would you need that? Like I told you, if I was the good, I was the God, I would play bass guitar every day. I would play slide. Boom, 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 boom. But that would just be my gift to them every day. They were like, shit, he playing that thunder bass, must be new. That's what I would do. I would give them gifts. I would give them awareness of me every day. Something there that's like, hey, we vibing with this. We all connect together. Not the jealous, you know. So I would say that's, you know, this you can get you want to get this out the library or however you want to get it. Study about Yadabath and understand his character and understand Sophia. But Sophia is definitely the character in all it wants, everything all at once. It's definitely the character. That would be Sophia. Sophia is everything all at once. It's all the divine, all at once. It's all the feminine all at once. The ultimate source of the feminine energy. I guess you could say, you know, that they called it, you know, they turned it into Sophia probably from Mu. So. Interesting about gang signs. I've worn suits since high school and college throughout the years of my life experiences. Yeah, you know, it's just my closet fucked up. Some of my closet fucked my suits up, so I got to buy a couple more. But yeah, my closet fucked my suits up. Hey Lorenzo, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining. Yeah, Devin, don't, you know, that's my only take on it. It's like, I understand the actions, but you got to really look at the character, and this character shows itself over and over again across many different religions. And so you have to understand, or you if you really study this enough, you come to the conclusion this is the same thing. And it's even like, to truly get it's like, even you see the opposite. How can you see that the opposite is really something different? You know, it's the same way is they try to say Hanukkah is the yin and yang, but it's always, and you know, the yin and yang more go together, but it's still that opposite kind of thing. So how would you think is, you know, either is any different? So it's the same character, still the hero twin, but you got the good twin, bad twin. So, yeah. Slave masters and slaves. Nah, them was ruined. Yeah, I did. I took some stuff. Yeah, them suits got ruined. Them suits got ruined. They was in my closet against the wall, and they got ruined. So it was no saving them. No saving them. Because found out where I live, you know, it's a lot of moisture down here. And suits wasn't in the right place. That's why my hats, I had to, a lot of my Godfather hats, I got them bagged up, boxed, you know, I had to do all that to them. Yeah. So you know, it's not bad to wear a suit. I mean, you know, weddings, funerals, you know, you can wear anything you want to a funeral, you really can, but it's just traditional to wear a suit. As I said, I wore a suit when I went to court. Just to tell you, know, it was a time where, matter of fact, I had the suit coat and I had the pants. I had, you know, just some pants that matched. But I remember buying the suit coat down in Macy's. Yeah, no, it was called Marshalls. It's we used. I imagine we had a Marshalls that was downtown. It was like you had to go down into the store, And I found a designer suit for like 25 bucks one time that fit me. And that was the suit when I got when I went to court and finally got the final win for the child support, or not child support, but custody of the boys. So you get it done. You know, it is out there. You go get it. It's a good energy tonight. Are we feeling the good energy tonight? We got the full moon energies coming in. Again, it's 3 days before, 3 days after. Yeah, show if you want to play tonight. Man, we're about to hit a heat spell here. It's about to get in them 90s next 4 or 5 days. I'm glad I'm off till Monday. They ain't even opening up. Is the energy high for all the people tonight? Do you feel that the energy is high for everyone? What do you think? Because that's the ultimate goal is, can I take you higher? Can we take them higher? Yeah. Yeah. Stir that up. Use your tools. Your tools get rusty. They like to be used. I got all this stuff around here. And I guess I could take, like the cards. I told you before, I just lay out the cards of my mind. I did all the cards. And it was like, that was so curious. Stand down the cards. They kind of came into the card where the cards were. And as soon as I laid that last card out, the cats jumped in the air and got off the circle. Oh, let me tell y'all this story. Okay. I want to tell this story to try to show y'all how this reality tries. Okay. Very pretty young girl I work with today. For some reason, kind of was bumping into her. But I was behind her. And you know how you get behind a woman, you watch a woman. But I really I was feeling the energy, and I really didn't want to connect with that kind of energy where you just kind of stalk girl's butt behind a woman. And you know how the girl be looking shy, try like, is he? Maybe I can get a glimpse. Maybe he's look, how women walk like that. But I didn't really want that, nor I didn't want that energy out there, nor did I want that kind of connection. Don't you know, me trying to look away, trying to break that was make dizzy? I mean, it was like the reality was so dug in to me just staring at her ass for whatever the few feet we was walking that when I tried to look away, it was making me dizzy. I mean, it was making me damn near lightheaded to look away. So something I changed, it was like me changing. It was almost like I said, the old TVs, you had to tune in the channel. It was almost like I was out of tune. That's the best way I can describe it. It was like I got out of tune by doing that, because it was like I was fighting something that did not want me to look away. Yeah, that's the best way I can say that. Sophia is the name of the Greeks gave to the Kemet, Egyptian, Nubian, Kushite mystery schools. Yes, but keep in mind, not all the Greeks were them that didn't have that already. So, I think you see the character in the Etrosians. You see the same character, and they didn't really fuck with the Kemetans like that. And they was older, so it goes back to them too. So I feel you, but it does go back to them too. They had their idea, and that really it goes back to that too. The Greeks kind of copied that from Etrosians, the older Greek tribes, mentioned in the book of Proverbs in the Bible and other versions. Well, yeah, really the characters of Mary and Mary Magdalene is Sophia technically. Another, well, you could even say a degree of a set or a sphere, or um, um, but all really trying to be the energy that's Mu. I know Bomber called it Queen Mu, but it's the regular name. Just Mu is older than that. So, yeah, yeah. Uh, I just watched a video where a brother demolished that Hebrews are just the same as Indians. Yeah, okay. The woods, we get 90-degree days with a heat index of 100 and above, but we be in the rain. Man, when we get 97, we like it was still 50% humidity. It was like 80 or 50% humidity. We get to days, it 75% humidity. We be that sweaty stuff, you know. So I'm gonna get my pickleball playing in fairly before it gets too hot. Keep them skills up. But yeah, we get that high humidity. Sophia, Greek language means wisdom. Philosophers in Greek mean lovers of Sophia, meaning lovers of wisdom. Yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah. You could even say divine thought or even first thought. As I say, it could even be considered that too. But it was still and they killed that. They killed that too. That's why, as another thing that the Gnostics disagreed with the other Christians about was the representation of Sophia, because to them she was their divine knowledge, divine love, divine mother. The other Christians, and wait a minute, put this above. We placed her with Mary Magdalene and Mary, Saint Catherine. Both men the same, it goes back to being their mother and bride. It goes back to the same kind of. It goes back to set or seer. It goes back to the bride and the mother. So same kind of characters that you see over and over again. I mean, if you really do, intelligent study of how you see um, the same energy. But it's interesting if you think Catholics still find their ways to be separate from Christians, even though they all supposedly use the same book. They are separate from them. They still heavily idol worship, where the Catholics not so much, not at all. But yet they read out the same Bible. But then so is Islam. Islam out of the Old Testament, more Old Testament, more so than New Testament. So how can you think they're any different when they're using the same source? And I said before, people, this is my only thing to say about religion. Understand, if you are a Catholic, you are led by a tradition of Jewish faith, under the Jewish faith entity. And they don't hide it, not really. They show it to you all in their symbology. But people don't understand that. Because they don't follow his stuff. And yeah, we're going to stay on them because we're not going to let all this history be hidden either. Gnostic in Greek means knowledge, known, gone, or who knows. Not agnostic means one who does not know, who is ignorant. Yeah. Well, yeah, ignorant of God. Yeah, ignorant of God. So I had my friend, and she was kind of defining, do I even something myself? And that's a hard question for me to really answer, because that's that I think there's something outside of myself, and I really don't. I mean, if I come from source, then there's nothing really outside of me. If I come from source, you too. You worry about yourself. As Quantum likes to say, that's it. You worry about yourself. That's it. That's it. Jimi Hendrix said it. I'm the one that's got to die when it's time for me to die. So live my life the way I want to. So that's it. You have to really worry about you. Now, what you push, what you make bigger, what you make your room bigger is your love. That's your room becomes bigger because you push out so much love and not really a group, but people like being around you and stuff, and so your room becomes. And for some people, their room could be shit, a whole state or something like that. And positive energy. I'm not saying no negative energy. But just for the average people, I mean, you can make your room just nice and tight, just the way you represent yourself, and just your knowing. And I can tell when people, I can tell words and people use my stuff, so that's okay. But your knowing, that's what you work on, what you know, and what you have to receive, because it's like this: no matter how you believe, whatever you do that works for you, just take a little bit from me. Then you can plug it in. It's like I don't pray every day, and I don't feel bad if I don't pray. I don't be like, damn, them guys don't like that not praying shit. I'm like, golly, a damn shit, a tank might fall out there and run into me today. It's this. I don't know. It's this. Not praying. They don't know. No, it don't. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's what's in your heart, and they know. They know. They already know because of your actions. So that's kind of like how I see with everybody. Of course, discernment is a great word that was put out there. That was a great word for people to really put in their knowing, is to discern the information. You filter the information and you take what little you can use. That's how it is. The difference between the mystic and the religious is that the mystic knows that the mystic knows God. Those who know themselves know the cosmos as well. The Egyptian proverb. Well, as Brother Pomatic, or he says he calls himself Flacco now, it's the one that can close his eyes and open his eyes up, and he's in front of the lion, and you can just stand there and face him without flinching. Stand there and face him without flinching. Like, okay, what is this vibration? What's happening? Tell the lion, what's happening, lion? What's happening? That's all I do. Be the best you can be. Be kind as you can be. The world makes you want to be kind anymore. The world does not want to make you be kind. But one thing you're never going to see, if you see somebody that supposedly look like me and I'm in some other state and I'm talking crazy, then it's some assassination shit and they're trying to say I'm there, it's bullshit CGI going on. Because ain't nothing they could do to make me appear somewhere, and it's like I'm going to do some crazy shit and get caught. Crazy shit and get caught. Now I'm all on TV, and then they show my whole story. They'll show my YouTube channel. Hey, well, he was talking about this. They'll go back. They'll go back to the channel that's so-called erase and find shit. They want to find some shit. Well, back then he talked about this shit. Well, how did you get that stuff? That's supposed to be erased. One of the reasons I love the Wizard of Oz is because they believed in the big head green dude until they found out he was controlled by a little old man behind the curtain. Somebody broke it down too, is that was to put us on the gold standard too. Follow the yellow brick road, because realistically, historically, we are the land of silver. Oh yes, they took tons out of America, no doubt. They don't even know the numbers. I've caught a couple, and they told the real numbers, because to tell Columbus' story, a little bit out of Puerto Rico, but no. When they talking about Cortez, they was talking about tons being removed out of the Americas. That's why the people in Europe should repay that. They returning African statues and shit. Well, where's all that American gold that was taken by the Spanish? And this is interesting. Taken by the Spanish still didn't help them win any of the wars. Didn't help them stay in control. And they had all that gold that none of the other countries had. I don't know. So, but yeah. Okay. And remember, when they did this, like Franco's version of the Oz, remember, the illusion is how he beat the witch. Remember, he used the illusion to beat the witch. He always was able to keep the witch, because remember, he shot some rock or some shit up at her ass. She had real powers. He would, despite the witch having real powers to fuck with him, he still was able to use trickery and illusion to beat the witch. So yes, he was able to use the illusion to keep leading over his people, but he also kept that bitch off their ass with his illusion, because the bitch didn't know any better either. And the one bitch died, when the house fell, she never knew any difference. She just knew she couldn't beat that big head dude because she got tricked with illusion. If y'all remember. The Gold of Cortez is mentioned in the Starz TV series, Black Sails. Not just him, no, I don't say DeSoto, but yeah, it was like Cortez. God, I had that information too. But I came across that. Wow, okay, they're admitting they took all this right here, because when they talk about Columbus, they don't talk about no big bread. Not gold like that. Not tons of gold. Maybe hundreds of pounds, but not tons. And they talked about Cortez. They talked about removing tons. But right now I'm studying the destruction of what the Spanish did to Mexico, South America. Now, my other book, The Other Slavery, and one thing that you have to, really use, really listen to what's being presented out there. And there's two things that I said. A lot of things done in Mexico, South America will be done here in Americas. And one thing is that, disease killed so many of the people. Yes, that did happen in some ways, but murder seems to be the greater thing. Now, this book I'm reading now, I've been saying this, and the way they talk about the Aztecs is way exaggerated. The sacrifice they talk about the Aztecs is exaggerated. And as I've said over and over again, this book I got today, he said the same thing. It's highly exaggerated human sacrifice of the Aztecs, because it makes them turn away from the blood they did. And I mean, the debauchery that they did on these people with metals, people starving. I mean, they destroyed pretty much, if you think about the Garden of Eden, they destroyed it. That shit in Mexico City, there was nothing like it. It was one of the most organized things that ever existed. The beauty, the cleanness, the fairness. There was nothing like this in Europe, and the only thing the Europeans could do is destroy it. With disease, murder, and metal being the prevailing thing, not guns, mostly swords. But on the other hand, is that even believable? Because, as I said before, how did they sleep? How did they ever sleep? Them dogs can't protect you all night. You can poison dogs easy. You can poison dogs. So some of those stuff, they don't make sense. So that's my pause on some of that. That's my pause. Do those civilizations exist in different dimensions? I'll get on that. Yeah, for sure. I'll get on that. I know Quantum was saying he didn't believe in the different dimensions. What he fails to understand about the different dimensional theory is string theory. Different dimensional theory is string theory. And it's the same thing when Bomber and them talk about the tetrahedron, you have the one power source in the middle and it broadens out. That's still fucking string theory. So, okay, but what your question, as I said before, the highest civilization is still around us. Again, El Dorado, Shangri-La, I mean, it's the same names. As I said, if you go back to my creation stories where the original planet was just what looked like oil, and the beings that kind of look like just beings with arms in the head. Not really arms, though, more like could be anything, really, but and the beings could create anything. Literally could create anything out of what came out of the soil. Well, as I said before, once the Europeans in the Americas, these beings rose up. That is why a lot of I've said this before. This Lindar is to try to bring all that down. That's why they want to find all the Lindar, because these pyramids they're finding out, they want to destroy them, so they stop sending these signals that these other beings depend on, because there's still thousands of them they haven't found, but they try to find that and they try to keep that energy for themselves. But they definitely, I am sure they know of them. So I'm not sure of the level of communication, but they know of them. But they haven't been able to take that down. That still exists, and that ain't aliens. That shit that's always been here. So okay, let me answer your question about different dimensions. See what, and I'll say this: if quantum ever listens, this is what you have to understand about if we are run by a machine. The machine has to have multiple interactions, and I mean multiple interactions, but I mean multiple results, because it's a machine. Because machine starts the thing again. The machine puts in motion, and then it itself looks at all the possibilities, because it has to prepare for whatever way. So it has to have stored away. Well, if this happened, I got stored away what I would have done. That's what a machine does. So if you look at what's running, we're running on, I believe, some type of machine, because it acts like a machine. And I'll agree with Brother Bomber gave me, but I've always said that part of is machine-like. The me. There's a name. This thing got a name. It's called the me. That's the only thing Stinson got right. Stinson put that out there. And I'll give him the props, because he put that out there. And I know Brother West, part of what Brother West Paneri got out of Stinson's work, I understand. And I like a lot of what you said. And I see the character being that. I'll see the character being Marduk with wearing the emerald. And found the energy center, or however the emerald grew on him, and being bold enough to kidnap, the divine feminine for himself, so it wouldn't be shared with everything. So it appears like some of these scenes probably did play out one way or another. So I take a little bit of it all in. The languages of the slave master: English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese. Spanish is language, now culture. There you go. Yep. Hispanic comes from the word Hispana, meaning or related to Spain. A particular dimension is known by unique vibrational singularity. Yeah, that taps into a little bit of Hawkins' work. I understand, though. The me is the demuse. No. It's the me is the me. It's nothing else it's not described in any other way. I think maybe it might be the thing that they carry the two poles and shit. That's what I'm guessing too. That's what I'm kind of guessing. It was the thing between them two poles as well. And whatever the name of that is, it'll come to me. But I'm thinking it's that too. That's probably how at one point it had to be moved around. It probably had to be moved around, again, coated with gold. It was probably very volatile at one point, and it had to be carried around it probably in a certain way, for I imagine. And I do believe that these entities fought over this technology. I see that. I see these type of, because I don't even know if it has to be multiple dimensions to be thousands and billions of years history and different lives. So that's what probably I'll say that, the only way the Bible really describes it is it held, by the cherubs and that the vat. And I once had a picture of Moses after supposedly seeing that energy, where Moses supposedly after Moses saw the tablets, and he's not a real character, but the idea that a person, there had to be a person out there that saw this source energy and had to be shielded, had to cover his head, because the ones that saw him without his head covering after being exposed to source energy, it stayed with him. And I think that's probably where, when Jesus is able to give the disciples energy to heal, that's probably where they got that kind of thing from, is when people truly tapped into that thing. There's several different stories, but I have a sweet picture of Moses, as he's walking away. It's like, the infinity face. If you guys remember what the infinity face looks like, it was kind of that. But it was a threat to everybody, because he had to cover it up, because until he cooled down, So I don't know if it's that. I think that the merge is just a much later, um, a much later name of Marduk, basically. As the year of the galactic alignment, a space portal will be opening up from Cyrus A and B, which celestial melanated beings will be coming through to this galaxy. We'll see. Religion is brainwashing, yeah, but not study. Not study. It's just studying the right stuff. I mean, you just can't. The problem is religion is they tell you only look, never look behind. Like we were saying, never look behind the curtain. That's what religion tell you. Never look behind the curtain. Worship God, not try to be God. Preachers try to be God and get away with it and get paid to be God. They play the God role. I mean, preachers went from having Cadillacs. I think Reverend Ike was the first to have a Rose, but David Ruffin had a Rose too. Now they're getting planes. They can be close to that thing. Same time being government and working for the wicked. Because evil ain't really, it's wicked. Sly definitely said it best. You want to keep a little of that evil in you. Evil is good. Bad is good. Evil is good. Yeah, evil is not the same as wicked. It's definitely not the same as wicked. Because you can be a perfectly, well-adjusted person in society, but if you was attacked and you defended yourself and, you took somebody out, you would let the wicked side of you come out. It would be just as easy to put it back in after it's over. Like, what happened? This motherfucker attacked me. I took him out. So Sly said it. You don't want all that to go away. You want to keep a little bit of that. So it's a little bit of balance. As I said, the temptation of Christ, shit. See, I would have never been that little thing. I'd have never followed the little thing. Doubting myself. I would not ask the little thing. I thought I was the one. I'd have known. I'm like, I would have been like, hey, I'm going to go have some fun with you, but I'm still the shit little thing. Because he's like, I thought I was the thing. And the little thing told him he wasn't. He's like, no, you're not. Now, how's something outside of you going to tell you what you are? See? So, you don't want to believe. You got to know. You got to know. You got to feel. Now, I can't say you can't get Christ consciousness. That Christos consciousness, that's definitely a Greek kind of thought, is that consciousness. I mean, if you look at it as just a supreme love consciousness, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's any way to understand it in the essence. I guess that's my point. Is like, how do you get the essence of that? Now, for a lot of different people, they can't just take the essence out of that and run with it. Love everybody. Love each other. They can't take just that essence out of it. Most people have to fall into dogma. It's not really falling into all the dogma. It's falling into the essence of something that from the base has some good positive things. So that's how I study it, y'all. I wish I could make my own religion. I could brainwash millions and make billions. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you the thing. Exactly, agent. Spiritually religious. I tell you though, don't want billions. Don't even want a million. That's a limit. Billions and millions is a limit. And again, but it's you want the abundance, because abundance comes in. It comes in. See, when you want millions and billions, that means you want their fiat money. You want their currency. But when you want abundance, you creating so much more than their currency. You're asking other things to come to you and manifesting other things beyond their currency. Now, some of these things you have to use their currency to obtain, okay, but you can bring the abundance to you to arrange those things. And again, it's all how you time to put it together. So, yeah, gods, all of you are children of the Most High. There's a lot to say that. I don't really, I can't really say that, because I just say that it's hard for me to say that it's something beyond me when everything that it is part of me. It's like whatever this idea comes from, machine, whatever it comes from, it's all comes from the same thing. So if the me did put this in motion, we are part of that in a way too. So whatever. Oh, okay. Let me tell you, like people want to say, this is the ultimate, neutrinos, but really, I guess the ultimate, if you really want to ultimate just experience, I guess the time crystal is the ultimate experience. And the advantage of the time crystal, see, the mind seems to need electricity still. That's what it appears. But we know the advantage of the time crystal, it needs no energy source. And so, again, when you're talking about something that was never created to begin with, time crystals aren't created to begin with. You do have to hit a frequency to make them happen. That's my oldest story of all the skulls that was collected, was to create a time crystal. And I guess after that, each skull was a time crystal in itself. And those who possessed the skull possessed the movement of time crystals. And it's something that never, like the Umbrellas Academy uses a little bit in the briefcase, but the time crystal, the skull was the same way. The skull was unlimited in its abilities to move through space-time. It needed no energy for nothing, created without energy. And that's what a time crystal is. It's a repeating thing that doesn't, it was never created. Well, let's say that there's ways to make them generate. I'll say that. There are certain ways to make them generate, but the skulls were one of the ways. So the skulls were, you brought all the skulls together with the main older skull, and they all generated together. And once all of them turned on together, they took the skulls in the separate ways away from the main center skull. And all of them became their own time crystals, never needing any power source to move through space. And that is like one part they still have to give you from that is technically when you're working with skull energies, all the skulls are kind of connected. And not really like eavesdropping connected, but it's like they're all kind of connected. So if you deal with people that have skulls, this is the way you can kind of communicate too, because they're pretty much connected. This is one thing that stayed, is that all the skulls are in a way kind of connected. In a way, less so than crystals. All crystals aren't really connected. Crystals that work together, but they're all not connected. On the other hand, the archon of the skulls connect all the skulls. And that's not, I'm not saying positive, negative, it's not a snooping way, but it is a way that consciousness is here. And as I said before, there is a skull library. I went, well, not too long ago. I was able to hit that frequency again. There's a skull library that you can get a lot of this information. That, yeah. So, the Black Panther preacher was first player, the first pimp, and the first Mac in the black community. I'll say entertainers probably before the preachers. But the preacher was sent for people from the very beginning, preach our word. What Ali said, I ain't gonna go paint no blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesuses. And what Ali Daddy say, that blind-eyed, blue-eyed Jesus that I painted put steak and potatoes on your table, so you can't judge me, player. Because look at you now. Daddy was right. How long I've been going? Okay, I'll go for a little longer. I got plenty to say tonight. I got the talks. Is the Skull Library like accessing Acoustic Records? No, I say it'd be separate from that. Acoustic Records, be careful with, because you don't want the near-death experience to have to get that. So kind of be careful. Really learn if other people in your family done got that before, because sometimes that's like, you know, you can tap into that, but a lot of times that comes like the death thing. Like right before death, you can tap into that sometimes. So, no, it's actually different. The Skull Library is completely different than that. It's completely different from that, and it has a kind of type of keeper. The Skull Library has a type of keeper too. Yeah. Whereas Acoustic Records, not as much as a keeper as. I know this might sound the same as guides. Acoustic Records, you'll have guides that will show you the door. It's a little different than the keeper of the information. They'll show you the doors. If you're there enough, you can go in. As I said before, you know, the shit is like, I don't even know for me. As I said, it's such a chore to do for me. The way they've set it up for me, having to go like the old paper stuff. You got to go in this big ass old room and climb up the old conveyor belt where the papers come down, look at my records through the safety quality points. That's a lot, you know. And then like it only will do so far. It only do so far. But I guess, you know, seeing the past and seeing the future, I guess that's, you know, what is the price for that? If you got to do it that way, I guess, you know, that's better than nothing, of course. But that's like I found other ways to tap some of that information in too. But no, it's a keeper there. I don't, and I'm not trying to sound boogeyman, but quite a high frequency it takes. It really takes a high frequency, especially to be able to hold it. Because a lot of times you go into this stuff, and that's why I say this ain't really dimensional stuff. This is like there, but it's like you tune. You know, like they said in the movie, you tune. You know, you can really tune into it. And yeah, different fractals. I mean, but going to the second time was like, oh, you know, refined, of course, but still nothing else like it. Nothing else like it. The fractals, just the exchange of the energy, the ancientness. Not just saying it's a skeleton, but just the ancientness of it. Yeah, it was quite honored. You know, I felt honored to be able to tap into that. You know, so. Now, there's other studies, you know, you get into reading about different skulls and stuff. There's other studies about the skulls that tell you, you know, there's one kind of skull, kind of the happy skull that you can tap into. And for the most part, yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. It's just like a pretty easy energy to tap into. I've never found any negativity in that kind of stuff. Again, as I said, you know, you go into this higher thing is accessing much more, but just the skull use in general. Again, this is probably the first thing that as I fully became the fool and knew to get a bag, this is one of the first things that showed me that, yeah, I'm in your bag regardless if you got one or not. This is how cool this thing is. Like, hey, I got the bag, and you carry me around, but it's like, you got the bag, bro. Everything you need gonna be up in here. But I'm one with you. So. So it's like I said, skulls will tell you their names. Skulls will tell you their names. You work with them, they'll tell you their names. Crystals to a point, and as I said, I had two skulls move. Excuse me, I've had two crystals pretty much move by themselves. I picked one crystal up, and the other crystal stuck to it and moved. It was a couple of my skulls, and maybe my greenstone. I picked one of them up, and the other crystal was stuck to it, and they weren't touching. They weren't touching. They were not touching. When I picked one up, the other one stuck to it though. I had never witnessed anything like that before. So crystals can, they start having a relationship with each other, and the energies is moving. It was like magnets almost like magnets. I was watching earlier today of a brother saying how Christianity is the religion, but the whole time was a Muslim. Islam is Arab man religion. They both forced them religions. Yeah, it's Arabs. Yeah, Brother Bomber said that years ago. He's like, why did y'all want to copy Arabs? When what they did is, and Bomber told this story, but you can find this too, is when the uniforms of the Masons, the uniforms they wear with the hats, is the European went to one of them weddings over there, and they saw the regalia of the Arabs, and they brought that over here and put that into their stuff. That's they get Masons wearing the turbans that got copied. And it's like if you get into what Darwin is and what Darwin said, and Darwin said of the higher race, evolution of the higher race. So he ain't talking about the rest. He's talking about what happened to that people. But Darwin didn't exist until Napoleon goes down to convention, showing thousands of years in history, and they ain't got nothing like that. They go back to like 2-3 generations, and like, what happened before then? Well, we really don't know. Some motherfuckers was killing each other, and motherfuckers getting sick. That's all we know. Is motherfuckers killing each other, and motherfuckers getting sick. So when they went down there, they had to hurry up and find some shit to create. And I think they've created a lot more. Their history ain't lining up. And one thing the Wespinari says that could possibly be true, especially when he talked about chemtrails, is he's talking about the reality is falling apart. Whatever created this is getting weaker and weaker, and they're doing all this stuff to kind of keep it together. Kind of, I guess, in some ways, the Burus kind of thing is banding it itself to keep in control. And I look at that as a possibility. This thing does seem like it's trying harder than ever before. Because like this, I'm going to give you a prime example, what I was saying on earlier, how this thing will bother you and could kill you. So Fred Sanford, or excuse me, Red Fox goes to his show, and Red Fox was trying to do a couple interviews. One interview was for Entertainment Tonight, pretty fairly big interview at the time. All Red had to do, Red's scene was walk through it, tell a joke, and go by. That was it. Normally, he wouldn't be called until damn near they was about to film that shit. But this day, they fuck with him so much that it caused him to have a heart attack. They were pin pricking him. And they knew, smoked all them cigarettes, all the stress from the IRS. And you don't want to teach CRT? Okay, show a real movie about Joe Louis. Joe Louis couldn't read or write. And they stole millions from him. How they stole millions from him, but yet didn't tax protect him. He fought in 2 charity fights, gave the purse to who his handler said give the purse to. But yet the government charged him all that money. And they knew he had given the money because when the fight was set up for the money to go to these two places. Yet the government hounded him for taxes, this money he never got. Hounded him so bad, kind of hounded him, he got on cocaine, but pinpricked him the rest of his life. This right there is the human race. God is on our side. Beat the Nazi. You don't think they was proud when he beat the Nazi? You don't think they was proud? He was the first to whoop their ass. But the way they did him in his later life, anywhere he'd go, be right there, take any money he had. The gamblers, the mafia, everybody trying to help Joe out. Some trying to give Joe cash, they pop up out of nowhere. No, we get that cash. Wouldn't even hardly let him live at all. Hounded him to an early death. Stress. But this reality is like that. It throws bullshit all the time. So that makes you wonder, why is it doing this? Why does it feel it has to do this to you? To put these little stressors. And I get caught up into it sometimes. I'm like, you cloaking shit. I mean, it's telling you, this thing can cloak things. It's not for a long time, but it's like little things it can cloak. It's that energy, I don't know. That energy seems to be a little trickster energy too, where things get cloaked. I don't know how, but it just little things, it'll just hide little things for a few little minutes and then boom, there it is. Why does it need to do that to everybody? And I've been seeing this for a long time. Irritants. And then I brought Red Fox to just show you it can irritate you. The same thing. The same energy can irritate you no matter what level you're on. That could cause your death. Same kind of thing. And no, they probably causing your death. Know that they treat you this way and put you under all this pressure, knowing you 2 cigarette packs a day for 30, 40 years. And they just do few little things to raise your blood pressure, and you might die. You know, when he died, he didn't own Sanford & Son. You know that? During his peak of Sanford & Son, he married a Korean chick, didn't learn. Divorce, he had to give up Sanford & Son to her. What Richard Pryor say? She didn't tell Nan joke. Which someone else turned it Kobe shooting in the gym, but that's how it started. She didn't tell Nan joke. As I've said many times, Jimi Hendrix, daddy, married a woman whose daughter changed her name to Hendrix, comforted the old man in his old age, and ended up with it all. Not the real family. Regardless if Al Hendrix was Jimi Hendrix's brother's dad or not, Jimi Hendrix and Leon was brothers. They had the same mom. So how you say Leon, they ain't do Prince half brothers and sisters like they did Leon Hendrix, did they? For a while, Leon Hendrix had a right to likeness. He could do some likeness. Because I got these pops come from Leon, not from her. Because they ain't got Jimi shit on it. Shit, make a movie about Jimi Hendrix and you ain't gonna let him use the music. What the fuck is wrong with you? Any publicity is good publicity, but because you ain't get your number, you ain't gonna let the music in. Keeping the chaos alive. Yeah. And chaos ain't heavy. You know, chaos ain't always got to be heavy. Chaos can be little aggravations. That's what chaos can be. Just little bitty aggravations. That's all it is. And that's why I like to learn about the idea of gang stalking, because it's, what do they say, that the characters that don't exist, non-existent character, That's the same thing, and patience beats that kind of thing. You go to try to do something, all of a sudden a flock of things, flock of birds come in there. That's kind of the kind of energy it is. It's like you go do something, the flock of birds beat to it. It's like every time you go down, try to do something, there's a flock of birds. How they get there? How they be there every time before you be there? And the thing that beats birds is anything spooks birds. So patience. That's the way to beat that kind of thing. Just patience. Like, okay, we have to take me a couple more minutes. Cool. I'm digging just doing this right now until I have to turn into the next phase anyway. But guys, some things are better left unsaid, but I hit a lick, which I hit a couple of them, but I really hit a lick, and not going to divulge it because some things you speak on, and it just, this thing is like, them things attacking from the Matrix, them octopus kind of things, they're like, they hear you like, oh, but I hit a lick, and yeah, it feels good to hit a lick every now and then. Like I said, I like movies where the bad guys win every once in a while. And for the last few, hitting these licks, that's all we can do. And make it better every day, build upon it. Yeah. And that's why I try to be positive and try to be real with people and have fun, No sports questions, which is good. Something called sudden adult death syndrome. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to touch that one because you know where that comes from. You know where that comes from. I'm not going to say nothing else. You know where that kind of thing come from, where they showed. But it was like for a while, people was really like when they, I guess I am going to drink this beer because I'm getting dry. I wasn't going to drink it, but forgot to bring the water over. But let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. What I was going to say is, when they started talking about motherfuckers, combusting, suddenly just catching on fire, for a while, a few people was catching on fire like that. Don't know how, but some people supposedly caught on fire like that. Very much could be the same thing. But if you think about it, if you really think about it, at one point, people really didn't live for a long time. Especially in Europe. But like I was reading, before the Europeans came to America, shit. In America, this dude right here, Starface Flower, the Great Pecan, this dude lived to be, let me get this right, 1601 to 1681. He lived like 80 years. The life expectancy was almost 3 times as much in America before the Europeans came over. Before they came over, compared to Europe, plagues, war, and people wouldn't look at. I talked about Isabella. Isabella died in her 50s. So did her husband. And people weren't living long lives over there. Not like him. He died at 80. His mother wasn't young when she died. There's a famous stele, if you've done any kind of come across, but it shows his mother as she's giving him power, she's piercing her tongue. She's piercing her tongue as a show of the power kind of transferred from the queen to the king's son. And this is actual rubbing. This is a rubbing, or actual plaster. They cast it. I mean, really, if I had a room, I would plaster the whole room with this. Maybe paint some, but I would just repeat like one wall, just repeat the energy. The energy is so great. I mean, just staring in this kind of stuff. One day I got to show these paintings, my man's paintings, or his posters he made. But this is all around me. I sleep under this energy. So I don't just sit here and talk about this. This energy's been around me. I mean, it's 5 years. I've had these posters for 5 years. So every day, this is with me. No matter what I do, this is with me. So don't just talk it. I live it. But I guess the Pan Africans could say, I had the Ankh, I got the Ankhs here. I had the Ankhs for, so all these years. So, I got the Ankh. Is that the same thing? I don't think it is. I don't think it's the same thing. I think the message is so different. I'm not trying to, I give freely. For the most part, I know. Y'all tune in. Y'all get to watch it without no commercials. I give freely. When the Kundalini rises and the body can't handle it. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's just Kundalini related. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that one, if that's just Kundalini related. I mean, I guess if you're saying, as far as if the Kundalini, you truly, reached the divine fire and brought that out of you, I guess, I guess I could see that as Simon Magnus talked about the divine fire, very, very similar to Kundalini. The divine fire that burns within all of us. I imagine. I think they had something going on back then that had some kind of weapon that they could probably focus on people and it would make them poof like that. That wouldn't surprise me. The comic book Fire Squad is very something. Remember the dudes combust like that, and it was they contributed to technology of the demon technology though. I mean, when you look at stuff, that's still a technology. Regardless if it's coming from a demon, if you can put that into people and make people do like where you create a whole race of that kind of thing, that's a technology. I mean, we looked at it as spookism, but it's not. It comes from technology. That's why I say a lot of what we face appears to be from this technology that is the mind. I mean, it seems more and more. I mean, that's not the total thing. There are, see, that's where these names, somebody asked these names earlier. That's why I say these names, and I think Stenton probably did get it right when he said that Marduk was able to take the mind, or what was called the civilization builder, and the other ones was mad about that shit and tried to hit him with shit that was just killing shit. It went through and just leveled, and all the shit could never grow in that shit again. Probably so, probably something like that. But he still probably got it and kept it for whatever reason. He probably did get it. And was able to activate it. That's what I'm guessing. And so we're probably living into something created by that. And remember, the God thing used to be the Rumpelstiltskin. God didn't want you to know his name. Rumpelstiltskin. Lilith. They don't tell the full story. Lilith. They try to say, oh, Lilith got, after she came back down. No, the original story is. Motherfucker was like foul to her. It's just like, hey, Harvey, I know your name, Harvey. And what did you say, Harvey? You said if shit didn't work out, just call Harvey. Now I can go back. That's the original story. Comes out of Dead Sea Scrolls. That other shit is brought in other books, later books, but the original book about Lilith tells you she wouldn't submit. And that goes back into the feminine creating things, If there's a start, it started with the feminine, and that's what it goes back into. Was in this new way of putting it, you had to submit to the man. Lilith had to be sister to start laughing, just start laughing, like, just laughing at the God, Marduk just laughing at it. What is you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, you got to be with him, that lame. I'm not going to be here with that lame. No, not with that lame. You said you come down. What was the deal, dude? The original deal. You can't take the spell on you. You don't remember my name anymore. Maybe not today, but I'm gonna remember tomorrow. And when I'm through with this lame, I'm coming back to be up there. So you better get waiting for me. Have it pretty quick. And that's the Rumpelstiltskin, you know. So you know, it's been definitely a attack on the divine feminine. The idea of the feminine, you know, bringing things into reality with just passion and love. I think we get away from that. Some clowns on Twitter just said if Steph wasn't light skinned and 4 inches taller, they would consider him top 5. I don't know. I don't really care. You know, I don't really care like that. I don't really care like that, man. It don't really make much matter than people making money while we sitting here talking about people we don't even know. It's better that we worry about ourselves. Worry about him. He don't care what you say. He gonna get big check. We need to just try to find to make money off them suckers. And then clown them when we show how fake they can be. You know how Steph ain't on none of the commercials no more? A little bit of the new one with him and Barkley, a little bit, but you see how they was pumping it. You ain't gonna see Clay on nothing else to basketball season. You can bet that. Because Clay was way then more steps slower, but actually Clay hustled. I really like Clay's game from the first games. He tried. And whatever the fix is, he truly tried. I will give him that. Ran to a big fella hooped at Mankato State. I just love hearing stories, you know. I was like, man, you don't play pickleball? I'd love him to be my partner. They could never pop it over my head. Because they, as well as I can jump, they can still pop it over my head, and that shit will come in bounds like, damn. I'm going to do one of my pickleball matches. I'm going to show you how devastating I can be. When I get a new racket, definitely devastating. But paddle control is a lot better. That's kind of a way it's better. It's an old racket. I can kind of still paddle control. And just being active, y'all. I mean, you got to be active, you know. Yeah, about the, yeah, I was just pointing out how stupid these are on Twitter. Oh, yeah, I got you. Now, as I said with him, they changed. They changed his story because one of his stories that I lived through was Steph made it to the Final Four. Now they saying that Davidson didn't make it to the Final Four now. That Davidson made it to the Sweet 16. That ain't what I saw. I saw Davidson make it to the Final Four. And then Steph's pick six. They lost, but they made it to the Final Four. Now they say that Davidson only made it to the Sweet 16. See how they done changed it? They have changed it because I get on them about how they helped him in college, and they took 2 games away. They took 2 games away. Well, let's see. Yeah, they lost in the regional finals. They lost in the regional finals now. So they took 2 games away from them, right? No, 1 game. Yeah, they only 1 game. Finals, yeah, 1 game. They took 1 game away from them. But I saw Davidson go to the Final Four. So yeah, I can try to take that shit off, but they know. I think they changed it. I really do. I think they changed it because Davidson. I've been saying that for years. I've been saying on this channel since I've had this channel that Davidson made it to the Final Four. Now I'm watching shit like, what are you talking about? They made it to the Sweet 16. What? No, they made it to the Final Four. Yeah, so I've been catching them. That's another thing they've changed. So people tune in and complete morons and don't remember nothing. Yeah, that's part of it too. Yeah, people are stupid. People are really stupid. I mean, they really are. I've had people I had a bank teller quick change me. I had a bank teller for weeks because I have dyslexia that I never, I don't catch on to patterns, but I know looking back at it now, I know she was quick changing me, you know. And then like, I think I told I know a dude, Samson, nice hustler. Samson was from small town. But before Samson's family got on, Samson was a quick change artist, one of the best I ever saw. I mean, Samson could really go down 10 stores and probably come back with damn near $1,000. Where he's just that good at making people change money. But he got put on But it's funny how, you know, that was his talent, how he learned that as a young person, and then he got put on, but got to smoking and lost all that and went back to quick change. And I remember when I heard like the area they got it, I'm like, that was Sam's. So it was like 7, 8 stores. They were saying the quick change dude, where he could put some money in front of you and make you, you know, give him money. He was good at that. I mean, consistently could go from store to store to store to store, and once people got to pulling out money, he could change money with you, and you wouldn't know the better. Uh, but yeah, I had a bank teller, and I know she was getting me when I was young. I know. I look back because I was thinking like, where is this money at? And she was getting me. And I know, you know, just over the years, just not recognizing patterns, and I just wish that this would have been recognized in me when I was younger. You know, would have helped me recognize things, but more. I would have never. I've never. I really technically, now, even though I'm ever able to understand language of X, Y, and Z, I understand those concepts. Um, Most math, I really don't get. I don't get most math. Again, I took calculus in college. As I said before, shit, I got to do it at calculus shit. And I'm like, what the fuck didn't they teach this before? Why did not just give me this? I remember having to do geometry, algebra, geometry, and then I would get to calculus, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is all this stuff, and they made me go through all that to do this. They should have gave me this first. I felt that way when I took calculus in college. I was like, this is easier than that. Y'all made me do hell learning that. Come here and do this, and this is easier than that. Question be 2, 3 answers, and you just write up the theorems and put it in. Fairly easy stuff. I can get that, but I can learn space. I know space, angles. I know that kind of stuff. Oh, I guess I know that kind of stuff as it applies to space-time parts, though, but space-time. Like, you know, if we center something, yeah. Quick change. No, a lot of times they swap 20s. 10s and 20s be the most they swap. 10s and 20s. But you get 20 out of every store, you know, and you do it really quick. And he was really quick and good at it. I mean, really, he would do it so well that people wouldn't get on a lot of times until afterwards. But you know, dude, fiend, he keep doing it. You know, it'd be so easy. But he would go through these stores and wouldn't nobody, like, by the time he went to the 10th store, they might not even nobody know that he did something. He would do it that quick. And then again, and you know, we talking shit. When did I know Samson? 90, 91. Yeah, when I knew Samson. Yeah, Samson was cool though. He was cool, but he was good at that. It's funny, you know, when you see dudes fall off. I saw some dudes fall off. You know, it's funny in the way that like dudes would have a final kind of thing. Like I said, my friend was like, no matter what happened to him, he had enough money to come together and put a key. So, you know, just to keep him afloat of everything that was happening to him, a key was going to keep. And then he get the money to some knucklehead that's going to the house to go get it. Like, how was his thinking that far off? I don't get that part. Like that. You was that far gone, you wasn't thinking, like, really? Hell no. In Detroit? Let me tell you a Detroit story. This is a real story. As I said, you know, even going to Detroit and hustling wasn't, you know, Detroit was tough. Detroit's a tough city. And knew a young friend that, you know, he young Hooper that I knew. Matter of fact, me and him had the record. Well, he got the record. I ain't gonna say him. He hit 11 threes in the game. We played a game yeah, I hit 9, he hit 11. Yeah, Mike. I hit 9 in that game, he hit 11. Went to college somewhere, I couldn't really tell you, but he came back home and started hustling and really had a nice connection in the D. And it was at the car wash late at night, and one of his guys set him up. And I told you this before, I'm doing a simulation where it was a boy riding a bicycle. And like when you see in the boy, when you're in the simulation, the boy back is to you. And I just remember just looking at him. I don't know. It was like there's an angle where he's riding and you see he's holding something that's doing his weight. That's what was my first tell. He was doing his weight. And then when he turned, I ended up shooting. And I forget now why I told the story. Oh, now I still don't remember why I told the story. Yeah, I don't know. But I shot the dude. Oh, okay, I know. I was telling Michael's story. Okay, so in that video, I shoot the dude. So Michael's at the car wash late in the morning, and he just, everybody's there, all the dudes, just the hustlers and shit is there at the car wash, just music playing and shit, smoking weed, just, the hustlers being hustlers, And the dude ride up on a bike and shoot Mike like 7, 8 times close up on the bike and rolled off. Now, someone obviously there has something to do with it, again, being loose. Definitely ain't being in certain spots at night. Boblo Isle, where you can wash your cars during the day, yeah, where there's a lot more eyes. But that was the first no that he was doing. Trusting too many people, a lot of eyes. You coming in, and there was a lot of murder back in those days. And yeah, Mike got hit, but he lived. Big coach. He's coaches still around Battle Creek. Coaches young man, AAU. Never really hooped after that. Kind of walks with a slight limp. I always liked Michael though. Michael was my older daughter's mother, my nephew or sister. Michael was her and Michael's mother was sisters, so he knew I was with his aunt. I messed with his aunt and his sister. I messed with the aunt and the sister. Matter of fact, after I messed with the sister, I told the story where my daughter's mother's now husband tried to kill her. After that happened, she called me and told me to take her with me because I was on my way to move here. She's like, take her and the children with you. Now, this is a chick, I done kicked it with her too, but this is her aunt, the dude. She called me because chick called me. He's like, you trying to kill me, okay? And I'm like, what you want me to do, whatever. And she's like, okay, I'll call you. And then Keisha called me. She's like, take her with you. If you leave and take her and the children with you. But that's his aunt. So, I was kind of the family. You'd have to be Stevie Wonder not to know. No. But you can't. The point of it is like I was saying, with the players that just thinking that, if you got the money and you got the dope, that, you can get these really bad bitches, and when everything is even. It goes into the same thing. You always got to be on point. And there's just certain times where you shade away from stuff, you just shade away from that kind of thing, because if you ain't really got a great grasp or even command of these little blocks you into, you sucked in. You almost trapped in a lot of ways. And that's what you got to understand. I mean, you could be multiple layers of trap. One thing the Snowfall found, remember when they was trying to escape and everybody looking for him? If you looked at that metaphorically, you put yourself in a situation like that, even if you get away, it's traps all the way trying to get away. Escape from New York. So it was always, I was like always shying away from that kind of thing. Because you never know. You always got to be on point. I was just sitting in the car about to go in my garage, and I was still just kind of looking at my beers and shit, because the worst feeling. I mean, it's a better feeling to see him coming up. At least you see somebody coming up. But just to be totally like, oh, you don't want to be this old. And I still, when I walk around, I still, look at everything. That's how everybody should. Got to be aware. You can't be walking. That's the problem with the phones. You can't be walking around like this. That is the most unsafe thing that children could ever do. Like when children was looking for the little Pokemon, live stuff, and you got children walking around like this, that is one of the most unsafe things that could ever be. A child holding a phone out, or just anybody holding a phone not paying attention. That is just so unsafe. Excuse me. First of all, if y'all in nature, you don't need the phone. I miss comments. They can see anything. Quick change. Okay, I read all these. I'm sorry. I read all these. I got these fruit bugs. I need one of those little fruit zappers. But I hope I sound positive. You know, people get on me, family, like, you don't sound positive enough. I hope I sound positive. You bring in your own positivity. You just be by being you. Like when Biggie say he had the same number, I mean, that's just saying that, you know, you the same. It's like no matter if you winning or losing, you the same. And it ain't really winning or losing, it's high or low or average, you know, no matter what, you the same. And that's being solid. That's what being solid means. No matter what the pressure on you, you solid. You know, you ain't gonna bust. That's what people want. People want people like that around them. They want solid people around them. They want people to know that under pressure, they ain't gonna bust. And the best way is you ain't really putting no pressure around your folks. And so like somebody asked me last night, what would I say to my young self too? Is I would say give more credence to people that are in your corner. I would definitely say that. Yeah, I would say that. I would say, and it's like a lot of people in my corner I did give undying devotion to, and others I didn't. But I would say to my young self, you've got to give devotion to everybody in your corner, because that's not something that's guaranteed. You can have people living with you that ain't in your corner. You have multiple people living with you that ain't in your corner. They would drop, if they had a chance, they would drop a rock on your head if you walk by the window. That was the old days. In the old days, that's how they got rid of rich people. Like, hey, rich person coming. Everybody be upstairs with rocks. And whoever got him would go get to rob him. So I can start betting on those sellouts again. Yeah. I dabble in baseball a little bit. I bet in baseball a little bit. So not that much. Usually, you know, some type of parlay with the Twins. Although they got their ass whooped by the Sox tonight. Sox ain't that good this year, but they got their ass whooped. It was 8-2. I was here. But I am gonna make a game. I'm definitely gonna go to a whole game. Football season ready for real. Yeah, they go to camp a couple weeks. Yeah, next week. Yeah, camp starts next week. Yeah. Well, we're what 13th, 14th? Morning of the 14th, right? Yeah, morning of the 14th. Yeah, camp starts next week, I believe. Camp starts. I believe. I think if I remember right, camp starts next week. Baseball is horrible. I don't know, man. Parlays with baseball worked out pretty good. I tell you, I love baseball, hockey. And parlays, baseball, hockey I was hitting on that shit. Yeah, I like that. That parlay, baseball, hockey, that was hitting for me. But yeah, I can't say I don't do it a whole lot, but some of the games I follow. I lost on that Twins game, baseball betting, so rigged, way worse than NBA. Yeah, it is too. You got to be on top of it. I think the game you lost, though, I think I won on that one. Because for a couple of weeks, I was kind of with the Twins. Twins is still what? First place in the division, I think. I think New York is first place in the East. But I thought the Sox was doing terrible, and they got trampled by the Sox tonight. So, don't know. Pitching hasn't held up. They only pulled one out of where did we just come out of? Angels. I think we only pulled one game out of there. No, I think it was 2-2, something like that, or 1-2. We might have just pulled one out. I thought that was a 4-game series. Usually that long series like that would be 4 games. So I think it was 2-2 with them. You never hit in baseball? Yeah, I had some nice parlays, especially NBA playoffs, baseball, hockey finals, baseball. I had some nice parlays this year. This year turned out pretty good. Bet-wise, I did pretty well this year. Baseball, horrible teams like the Sox randomly upset the best teams. Yeah, definitely today. I was shocked because I forgot the game was on. Yeah, I didn't even realize the game was on. Well, I had to work tonight too. Shit, I worked until fuck. I went in at 3. I ain't come home. I left. Shit, I don't think I still didn't walk out of there till like 9. So I got home. Then I had to stop and get some beer, of course. Stop and got beer, so I got home after 9. So the game was, well in hand by then. Because when I turned to it, it was 7-1, and I think it ended up to being 8-2. I saw they scored another run, but I was like, shit, I ain't watching this shit. Did Ariz make the All-Star team? He leading the league in hitting. He better make the All-Star team. That'd be fucked up. They kept him out. He lead the league in hitting, and he don't make the All-Star team. That would be nasty. That would be mean. But the Twins had another young dude that was playing first base but getting Polanco. I don't know what happened to Polanco. Polanco just disappeared. They got Ariz playing first base. Polanco was playing first base, and he a third baseman with a gun. He a third baseman with a gun. But he was getting hurt all the time, and then, he wasn't hitting good. Polanco, I think that was his name. Kind of bigger dude. I don't know what happened to him. He did make it. Oh, he did make it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he needed to make it. I like that dude from when he was a rookie. He was always getting on base. He reminded me of Rod Carew. Rod Carew was the best hitters ever, especially left-hand hitters. I studied him, and I batted left-handed. I mean, he was always square on the ball. I mean, I know a lot of dudes talk about Ted Williams and his hitting techniques. And, Rod Carew, damn, what did they do to Rod Carew? Didn't they give Rod Carew another heart or some shit? Now I'm thinking about it. I think they gave Rod Carew a heart. Maybe y'all can look that up. They gave him a heart or something. But I think they gave Rod Carew a heart because he's still alive. But batting wise, man, like nasty as a left-hand hitter. Very nasty, very consistent. One of the top hitters of all time. Oh, okay. I was talking about Ted Williams. A lot of people look at Ted Williams' way of hitting, but Rod Carew, if you listen to some of his ways of looking into hitting, yeah, he very, very wise on it. I tell you, motherfucker, I used to see all the time was Tony Oliva. If y'all know baseball, old head baseball, I used to run into him all the time. Like, Mr. Oliva, good to see you. He stand up. I like, hey, Mr. Oliva, I gotta shake your hand, man. I'll be with these old heads. I see these old heads, I go talk to them. The only person I'm fairly shy. I saw my cousin Tony one time and I ain't talked to him, but I saw him. I was like, I felt bad. Then I saw him in Michigan. I'm like, I saw you at the ball. He's like, yeah, I remember seeing you at the ball. So you look like you wanted to come talk to me, but I'm a fairly shy person in a lot of ways. But I remember I saw Tony at the ball and I didn't talk to him. So then I saw him a couple weeks later in Michigan. He's like, yeah, I remember seeing you. Oh, okay. Watch the All-Star game. I just like baseball. I mean, we all know they're crooked and stuff, but I like to be entertained. It ain't the players. Just like, when they came back from Vietnam. Don't be mad at the soldiers. I mean, the players is involved too. Baseball is obviously when they want to give up a home run, they give up a home run. And as I caught, in the video, they say if he can't hit the curve, they ain't going to pitch him a curve. They say that's why Jim Thorpe wasn't a good pro baseball player. He couldn't hit the curve. Curve is easy, especially they hang them. Try to hit it before it break. So, that's my old man reminiscing. I used to read a thing every morning that said, to dream about the person you want to be is to waste the person that you are. And I guess if you really look at what it really tries to get you to understand is live the dream. Live the dream. That's what lucid living, that's what it really is you live the dream. That's another way to look at it. And that's another way to understand how the machine moves. You're living a living dream. Not saying it's the greatest, you the best, not saying that, but I'm saying you are living, you are living in a living thing. You're living, that's what living lucidly. Timothy Freak teaches, again, you love everything because you love the moment. Even when it's bad, it's good because it's life. That's why a person will say, put me behind a wall forever, but just keep me alive, give me a TV, I'm okay. Junk food, I'm okay. People accept that because they're alive. And that tells you really right there how valuable it is. Consequences, baseball is complete garbage. It is very rigged. I was watching some highlights last night. Dude from Seattle got a in the park home run. Dude in the outfield runs up really far, and no, he doesn't get it. The center fielder, it's just a routine, pretty much hit. But because he didn't touch it, I guess they didn't charge him an error because it couldn't be an inside the park home run if an error. I think they didn't call it an error. He went in, the ball went past him. He flubbed it. But I catch that double all the time. That instead of throwing it, when they want to get him out, they don't do this twice. They don't hitch or they don't flub the ball. I mean, they do this, and like people get mad at me. When people say, okay, here you go right here. When people say that people shoot, basketball players shoot hundreds of shots and shouldn't make those shots, same way with a baseball player. Baseball player get hit thousands of ground balls. He should get every one of them. But how often do we see they don't get all of them, do they? Well, that was a sharp hit. You see, just like this play earlier that gave up an inside the park home run. He run it up and the ball went by. And you see that's what he did. You see that's exactly what he did. He meant to go by. So. Give you some insight to what you're looking at. But can still be entertained, It was some good games today. Reds beat the Yankees in the 10th. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that, PJ. I saw that. They beat them. I was thinking about you. It's like, I wonder if you caught that. Yankees also can't beat the Reds. Yeah, yep. Can't beat them. Yep. I saw that today. Judge hit a home run, though. He hit his 31st. I was looking at that line. I was like, getting that 13 in there. But he hit his 31st home run today, though. So I look at him getting that 13 number in there. So, but yeah, I caught that. I tell you, man, I might even do a video going to the St. Paul Saints game. That's a pretty park over there for minor league baseball. Oh, let me tell you what they still have here. It has different names. One time it was called Legion Baseball. But again, this was a very organized men's baseball, semi-pro league. And what we have in Minnesota is we have one of the most, well first of all, we have some of the most unique semi-pro ballparks. This area is known for, they did a series of all these, but all these ballparks are almost attached to semi-pro teams. So there's like a high level, and when I say high level, I ain't saying rich, but I'm saying a high organized semi-pro level that are not farm league teams. But I mean, the players, right, somebody, of course. But these are a way for people still to play high level baseball. Funny, I ran into one dude was playing semi-pro, and he was just talking to me about tournament and stuff. It was like just we were talking. It was the same kind of conversation of the tournaments I used to sign up for, but basketball. We was just like rattling off the same kind of thing because the way he was in. And this was a cat younger than me, but the way he was talking about doing the baseball games was the same way. I used to hoop. That same kind of thing. Just hooping all the time, going to tournaments. I had a bunch of When I went to Michigan, I couldn't tell you how many little trophies and shit I had. Clocks, little, just all kind of little trophies and shit. My ex, I remember my ex would break some of my trophies and shit. You motherfucker, break my trophies and shit. What do you think about you breaking this trophy? What do you think about that? Fucking, it's a plastic fucking trophy, bitch. What am I supposed to think? I'm supposed to be mad because you broke some goddamn plastic trophy? Fuck, what the fuck? I done broke 3 or 4 on accident, shining them and shit. What, I'm supposed to be mad about that? What, I'm gonna whoop your ass for breaking a plastic trophy? You're supposed to be mad. What the fuck I'm gonna be mad about that for? Shit, break another one. It make you feel good. Shit. But you know, that's what she did. She broke the trophy, then she stomped her foot. Just laughed. I'm like, okay. Shit's not funny. And shit is funny to me, bitch. You broke the plastic trophy. This shit's funny. What are you talking about? I'm not mad about that. I'm not gonna beat you up because you broke my plastic trophy, honey. I'm not attached to it that much. Give it to the kids. Give it to the children. Let them break it some more. It make them feel good. Yeah, those players been practicing routine fly ball, ground ball drills since they was 12 perfectly. You gotta shoot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's they miss shit. They miss shit on purpose. You know, I mean, think about it like this. You on TV, you know, they had games where it was on the money and they had to make plays in certain games so they could move up to see they could stand the pressure. If you could do it then as a young person, you definitely could do it every day as a rich millionaire. Now, of course, they tell you to fly plays. Again, the earbuds. I'll say the earbuds are used baseball, you know, uniformly. I would dare say that uniformly they're used in baseball. Yeah, I would say uniformly, probably all baseball players have them. I'll say all sports too, though. But I hesitate, and I feel being a lineman. I don't think the lineman would necessarily need. I don't think a lineman would need them. Because they could. I don't even want to give them a break either. They probably got them too. I say all of them where they tell linemen to hold, they hold. Yeah, they got something in the hat. But yeah, they won't miss. They won't miss. If it's like for you to move up to go to a different level, you're gonna play a game where you ain't gonna miss. So don't tell me every day when you're a millionaire you're gonna miss. You're not. You get told to miss, and it become obvious, you know, when they told to miss. Like when I watched that Seattle, it's on. That's why I saw the Reds. The Reds beat the Yankees, and I saw Judge hit his home run. And I was talking to my friend at that time too, and so I was talking, and you know, score. I saw Judge. I saw the Yankees a couple. It came over a couple times. Boy, TV be sucky this time of year. They be trying hard to put on some bullshit. Because it'd be a lot of bullshit on this time of year. I'm starting to sniff. Congested a little bit. You know, Elvis would say, a little love. I'm all shook up. I remember somebody had put some different music to Elvis on doing the Jailhouse Rock. That shit was they put some cool music in that shit. That shit was kind of cool because they were still like, Elvis had them all on point and stuff. That's one of the first, you know, as I said, that's one of the first videos. Look that shit up where Elvis doing the Jailhouse Rock. That ain't nothing but a music video if you look at it today. Now, we was talking about the Wizard of Oz. Look at the Wizard of Oz and you see nothing but you see that it is a film play. I mean, it's literally a film play. It is a play that they put a film on. If you look at the way it's shot and the way the scenes are, we easily seen it's a play. And again, we're looking at, you know, almost 100 years later, but it is a film. It's a play, you know, in every way and shape and form. It's a play, highly paid for a play, but a play. That's something we see now today too, where audiences back then. I mean, think about it like this. I watched a movie and it was really like this for these motherfuckers. They were showing a movie and they showed the first time people went to see a movie. In the movie, it was just some music, you know, no, not even a slow, you know, a soundless picture. It was just you go a few minutes in, you go a few minutes in there, and you know, you see an ocean moving back and forth. It was people falling out. Now think about the first time motherfuckers saw Frankenstein. You don't think motherfuckers were scared? Here we go, one for you. I remember the night my parents went to see the Exorcist, and I remember Melvin got out the car. Rest in peace, Melvin. Melvin from Albion. And I remember, well, Melvin didn't say shit. His face was white because I think I babysit his daughters. His face was white, the motherfucker. That shit scared that motherfucker. My mom was like, that shit was like, she was tripping. She was like, my stepfather was kind of quiet. I think that shit got to his ass. But I remember Melvin was scared the motherfucker when he came back. That shit had his ass. Beverly, his wife, was just laughing. She was like, my mom, that shit was funny. My mom was like, no, I don't want you to see it. But the shit was like, she was kind of laughing at the shit too. She's like, that shit was funny, the motherfucker. Compared to now, you know, compared to seeing it live, compared to now, it's the same thing. You know, seeing The Exorcist in the 70s is us looking at people. You just see it's the same thing as looking back at Frankenstein. It was only one creature I felt I couldn't beat. Now, the Mummy, definitely, I would have had no problem with the Mummy. I don't think Frankenstein I would have had any problem with him. Again, Dracula, he wanted hoes. I don't think Dracula wanted me. You know, I know a vampire hoe when I see it, and you know, just knock her away. Don't put up with it. You know, I would know. You know, like, nah, baby, you want a little more. But the only one that probably wouldn't have a chance, and I've said it many times before, is the werewolf. You know, that transformation, that's the motherfucker. You ain't getting away from that shit. That shit turned on you. That's why it's better to be the werewolf or the jaguar. But that shows our people, you know. It really does. They try to say, yeah. Vampire hoes. Oh yeah. Yeah, they would, you know, when they would try to send them vampire hoes at you and try to get, you know, that's the only way they could get to a player like me. Like, no, you know. One of my other hoes would come in and say, hey, get rid of them, just put this Jesus piece on. Which one? You know, the one you got with where the Jesus got the diamond underwears. I got to find another one of them. You know, the crucifix with Jesus' underwear is diamonds. I think that would be, you know, and that would keep the vampire holes away. It's like, you know, Jesus with the underwear, diamonds underwear, or whatever you call, whatever Jesus was. What did they call? What did they give him down there? But I saw that in diamonds one time before, and I think I would like that. Like on the cross with diamonds underwear. It's not a bad day. It's not a bad day when, even though you're hanging there, you got diamond underwear. It's not really fully a bad day. I'd rather be, yeah, I'd get away from that shit. Oh, no, I'm just bullshit. I ain't got it. That's paranormal. No, I saw it in a pawn shop years ago, and I was like, damn, that shit was it was cool. It really looked cool. It was gold. It was all gold, had the WH Jesus. You know what the H stands for. And he was hanging there, but he had diamonds. His underwear was diamonds. And it was a little piece about 2 inches, 3 inches, but he had diamond underwear. That would look cool. And you know, like you get into what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe. They believe he was put into, you know, like Vlad the Impaler. They believe he's more impaled, you know, that he's more impaled. Diamond undies. Yeah, I mean, yeah, diamond undies. It was diamond undies. That shit looked good, though. It was like, wow, that was creative with the motherfucker. Paranormal Activity. I mean, really, meditating is the same thing. Meditating is the same thing. For the most part, I've put out there how to really be in command of all the paranormal activity that should be in your house. You know, I've showed that. I mean, salt lamps, putting selenite in the windows. If you want to go further, apatite in the corners, along with kyanite, black kyanite. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can just set up your protections. So you can control that in your own homes. Outside, I mean, well, I'll say this like this, like quantum of science, what you miss this part. So, okay. How do I want to put this? Okay, so really, if you look at spirits and like how certain spirits would be at places, okay, so where does the spirit come from? So what do you look at the spirit as a three-dimensional, or do you look at that person as that person kind of vibrated a little bit where it could perceive the spirit? So you would have to understand that there is a dimension that the spirits are in. No way that this, like I said before, the astro is a separate dimension. It's a separate different thing. Whatever them beautiful women from the czar, whatever they got, that ain't nothing else like that, and that's separate from all the rest of this. Whatever they use is separate from everything else that I've ever dealt with. It's separate. It probably trumps it the way I see it. It's stronger than the rest of this stuff. They can interrupt anything, and that's I didn't mean to point out, but that is the strongest I've seen so far. What they can do, that is the strongest. So, so saying it's hard to understand if you understand if we come from that machine. That seems to be making a lot of mistakes. If CERN's doing anything, CERN is trying to resurrect this thing. That's what I'm guessing. They're trying to give this thing more energy to keep alive because it needs energy to keep alive. It ain't like a time crystal. It's something's got to feed this thing. So it's a beast. It's an electricity beast, no doubt. It needs power, and it needs power outside of itself. I think that's where the Nibiru story really comes from, is saying that there's something that needs this outside source to be in power. I think I get that kind of metaphor, and it seems like this thing is the same way. It always seems like it needs some type of all the natural resources in America. It seems like it needs a lot of the natural resources applied towards it. So don't believe in that dark winter stuff because there's less control in that. You know, that end of day stuff where it's less control. They never want that. It's less control. No matter how no. If it went like that where you ain't got TVs, phones, yeah, it's less control. They don't want that. They like where we are now, where they can always watch us, always surveil us. Phones, we've given that power away. Clearly, with this stuff, gives that power away. We gladly let them surveil us. But on the other hand, it proves who you are too. They can't never come to me and say, "Hey, we saw you over there doing." No, motherfucker. You know where this phone has been. You can tell me was it in my pocket or in my pouch. You can tell me. So don't try to play games and try to say I'm over there doing some fuckery when you know where I'm at through this. That's why my lawyer's connected to this phone where you try to bullshit like nope, Tope's right here. He's right here. No, he's right here. You guys know. Come on. Why are you messing with me? He wasn't nowhere over there doing none of that shit. No way. You guys know his phone. Look, right now on my screen, I can bring up his phone. He went to get some milk from Quick Trip, went to Lund's, and he went back home. No, he made a trip to the liquor store and got some cigars. So he didn't do that shit, y'all think. You think it'd be a food shortage? Can't really say I'm seeing that. I'm seeing a clothes shortage pretty much. I'm definitely seeing a clothes shortage, but food, not so much. Not so much. Again, I went to the Nike stores, no Nike socks. Like a single pair, and fuck if I'm paying a single pair for $15 for a stupid ass pair. Fuck that. Yeah. No, like they used to have like Nike socks every kind for men. Didn't have that. After going there twice. Within like 6-7 days. So seeing that clothes, food, not seeing that here. No. Matter of fact, shit, the dude we deal with a butcher. He called me. Wanted to see how much I could put in my, how much I wanted. So I have to see what the ladies have bought and what I can handle. Hate throwing food away. If the asteroids come here, that goes into a little bit of the lure of Marduk. The lure of Marduk is that Marduk, and this comes from West Benary, but that Marduk would hollow out asteroids and they would put the Mai in the asteroids. And kind of they show you that a little bit in what the Superman vehicle did, the way the vehicle was turned into kind of a symbiotic kind of thing with you. But that's how they attack nations, that they thought it was asteroids coming to attack them, and it was really vehicles with weapons that destroyed them. So I think it's powering up this thing. I really do. That's the feeling I get. Why do they need that much energy? Why do they need to? It's got something to do with the older technology. It's some kind of way reviving the older technology. That is why they're going to do this. The oldest thing that there is in technology will benefit from what they're doing, or is trying to benefit from what they're doing. Only that would need this. So I don't think it's no going through. I think that's what it is. The oldest technology needs this. And I'm probably the only one that's going to say that. The oldest technology on Earth needs CERN. Whatever it's doing, it is doing that for this oldest technology. To make this oldest technology still be relevant, it needs what CERN's doing. Now, what they're cracking into, imagination to do so much, but I think what it basically comes down to is trying to give the time crystal to the Mai. I don't think the Mai can. I don't think it can move by itself. I think once it's planted somewhere, it pretty much is stationary. I don't think it can go from planet to planet. Now, you can probably definitely put reality of that kind of shit, but I think it has to be transported. I don't think it can transport itself, what it appears. So it appears like, I imagine probably that's what the move seems to me. Something's dying, no doubt. West also kind of how to else could be because keeping the reality intact, because so much of the reality is being revealed. Like I said, seeing two suns, Dr. Aldrews would see all the X body, somewhat stuff that they really can't explain. The clouds don't explain. I kind of somewhat. Some of it's bullshit, of course. but I mean, to even understand that is how they could move things around. It's true. As I said, I heard a continuous thunderstorm one time for almost 3-4 hours. I'd never experienced that thunder for 3-4 hours. It sounded more like war than thunder. But again, under the guise, it could be guise of thunder. It sounded like so much more. The constant just boom boom of almost 4 hours. I never witnessed that because I stayed in my garage. That was the day I saw the thunderbolt look more like a man, or like a humanoid almost. I could, if I had an artist, I could really draw it out. I remember it that well. I could still draw it out. You would see what I meant. If I ever had a good artist, I could tell that to. I could draw it out. You would see exactly what I mean by looking like a silver humanoid-like being when it just lightened. But 4 hours of boom, 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 boom. Never been like that before. It's cool. Just sitting outside my garage, Nice day. Drinking beer. Chilling. So these are some things I suspect why they're making moves they're making. Again, we have things we can look into, being neutrinos, being time crystals. And that is, again, where the time walkers come into it. And what little I do give out still gives you a little glimpse of how truly to move through space-time and not fear death. Death ain't the end. And that's why they want to reign so supremely on this level, because it's all they got. They ain't got more. And they want to hold you from knowing that you do have more, that you do have greater possibilities because you got something this thing doesn't have. And it admires you because of that. Yeah, you know what? You are so right. You got to have it again. Yeah, you're right. They ain't got it. And you know what? This is what I don't. You know, Marshall sells Adidas socks and Champion socks. They sell Nike outfits. They sell whole Nike stuff. They sell Nike everything. They don't sell Nike socks though. They'll sell Nike shoes. Now I'll say Kohl's. I didn't even think about going to Kohl's. Kohl's might have the socks too. Now I think about it. Because I told that to somebody. My friend, I think she mentioned that. Yeah, I think she mentioned Kohl's might have the Nike socks. So I might have to go out to Kohl's. But Marshall's, y'all tell parents, y'all getting school clothes. I'm telling y'all, get them clothes now. You want to be a little diverse, get them clothes now. Don't wait. Them shelves every day, people getting them clothes coming in. Them clothes is moving quick. They're saying you got children, get that stuff now. Don't wait till next month. I know we got budgets and stuff, but buy little stuff that you can get. Definitely get the shoes now. Ordering too. Of course, ordering. That's, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm seeing in them stores. It's got to be in these other places too. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get some. I got the long ones. I mean, they like knee high. My son always teases me when I wear the knee high socks. He's like, damn, why you got them old socks on? So, and then they give me a white pair. It's like a black, white, and gray pair. Like that white pair. Like, my brother had been talking about people for the last 30 years wearing white socks. People like they'll go to work, like they won't wear white socks when I guess basketball, but dudes wear white socks every day. They used to clown them at work for wearing white socks. Or brother would crack it up like, well, come here work with the white socks. They just clown them and shit. Brother quit wearing white socks. Like, you hooping somewhere, dude? You wear them white socks. White socks don't go with boots, man. They kind of do, but that's what they used to do, to clown the people. But it also made me aware not to wear white socks. Just as I said, we have a tradition in Michigan of don't wear your hat, where if you came into the house, somebody would literally grab your hat and stomp it and set it on fire. But I noticed when I came in, they didn't do that to me. Because I would have probably shot one of them fucking with my hat. And I had one of like short brim 1904 or 5 Cubs with the little cubby. I'd have shot one of them. They didn't try to grab my hat. So they didn't fuck with me, but I respected them and took my hat off and put it safely in my car. Yeah. 2 socks with colored stripes. I remember I got some really colorful socks. And again, when I was a freshman, I was a basketball player forced into the football world. So I had a bunch of old colorful socks, and dudes used to trip because they didn't match shit. But they was just nice athletic socks that covered my whole leg during practice. And so I didn't give a fuck. They didn't match the shit. Dudes would trip. The niggas was tripping. Like, you liked them colors because always was different color combinations that didn't match. But they always would trip on that. They're like, this doesn't matter. Like, they wouldn't even let me wear the high top. They would not let me wear high top cleats. It's like the old Johnny United leather high top cleats. So the next year, we got a contract with Nike. Nike had sweet, not high top cleats, but it was high top cleats. All preseason, I've wore these motherfuckers. The week of practice at pitcher day, the coach comes up to me. I'm wearing these shoes. He's like, and I polished them and stuff for pictures. He's like, why are you wearing them? I'm like, what are you talking about, coach? I've been wearing these since camp started. He's like, no. I told you can't wear high tops. I was crushed. I love those shoes. He told me I couldn't wear them. I was crushed. He didn't take them off me right then and there, but kind of he did. I was like, damn. I got to wear them low cut. I hated the low cut Nikes. I hated them of all shoes. I like Spot Bill. Hated them low cut Nikes. I wore them all camp. I wore them shoes at that point 6 weeks. And then he telling me to get a brand new pair of shoes. I got like four practices and a game to break in. Yeah, that irritated me. I was very irritated. Unfair. I remember my boy Junkers was like, I told you. Yeah, he did tell me too. He's like, man, coach ain't gonna let you wear them. I'm like, fuck that. These is the best shoes. I remember we was picking our shit up like, this shit is the best. Matter of fact, I think he saw me get mine. He's like, damn, they got them getting you. I'm like, yeah, they got these. Like, man, they ain't gonna let you wear them. Like, you ain't gonna say shit. And I wore them all up to picture day. Lucky I never had ankle problems. Trying to think if I remember. Yeah, I didn't tape my ankles. Tape my knee, didn't tape my ankles. I wore braces, ankle braces. Didn't like that tape slip. Tape don't stay, tape stay put. Tape slip. Didn't trust the slip and tape. That was what I liked about when I would tape my knee. I knew it would give at some point. So not being as confining. Tape slips a little bit. So, well, I think I'll give my talking period is kind of gone. I don't know. I might could go 15 more minutes. Let's see if I can hit 3 hours tonight. I haven't done a 3 hour show in a long time. I only got 15 more minutes, so I think I can give 15 more minutes worth of old man stories. If y'all want to go through it, and future people, old man stories. But I guess a lot of the experience comes from just showing no matter what comes up, you can adapt to it. You really can adapt to it, and you can thrive if you want to thrive. And I mean, it is something to say you can speak positivity into trying to work with what a success, whatever you want to achieve. I guess materialize ain't the word. No, whatever brought that. No, that wasn't the word I was looking for. I was stumbling there. You guys saw me stumbling and bumbling. But it really comes down to your intention of how whatever you deal with and the people you deal with, your intentions. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes you can do good but mean bad because you say you were kind of forced into giving some energy up. And even though you did the act and you think that the act is all it was, is you didn't go into the act with the right energy. And Rosie Perez says sometimes when you win, you lose. And that's how sometimes people do things without the right intention in their heart when they do these things. And we've got a society that shows you if you do the act, sometimes the act means more than the intention. The show. Because as I said before, there can be some evil stuff behind good intentions. There's too many things that I could mention that it becomes obvious. In the same way, you can try things that's perceived as bad, but you had the best intention when you did it. And I know that's very simplistic. Yes, indeed, it's very simplistic. However, it relates. It relates in the simplicity. It relates because everything ain't deep. You have to deep think into it, or even deep visualize to understand the experience. And understand, the guys or understand the wavelength I'm putting out there and how to relate to the wavelength. Because there's a pulse of everything that's easy to really touch into if you want. You listen. It's like I'm gonna try to make plans to see if I can go to the quiet room. We got to get somebody to go with me and see how long I can stay in there to hear everything. Do you know how you don't really hear your body at all? And do you know that if you're put in a room and you have to listen to your body, you probably couldn't stand it? Do you know that? If you're in a quiet room, all the noise is put out, you would hear your body, and you probably couldn't stand the sound of your own body. That is how brainwashed we are. I ain't talking about a room with recording headphone. No, I'm saying that the quiet, a truly quiet room, like they have here in Minnesota, it is so quiet where you would hear your own body. You would hear your vibration a little bit too. You'd hear that. You'd hear that too. But you would hear all your organs. You'd hear everything. Not just when you fart. Most of the time you hear your insides when you fart. Or you belch. You fart, ooh, that came from in there. But you imagine you're in a room and you're hearing all of it, all the communication that goes on, that this noise drowns out. So you don't even know what you really sound like. That's what I'm saying. How can you cure yourself if you don't really know what you sound like? That's the way to tune. Sound is the way to tune. That's why you put the sound. That's why I give the sounds every time. I used to just do the sounds for full moons. Now I do the sounds every time I come on, because if you just listen to that little bit, it might be able to tune you a little bit. Because all is just the right my right intention put into the sounds. You was on for a minute last week. I was like, let me get off work and get my daughter and get home, and you was still rocking. Oh my goodness, man! On my old channel, it was some nights where I would go from midnight to 4 or 5 in the morning, man. I mean, my time. But I'd get done 4 or 5 in the morning. I was doing the long shows. I was doing 5, 6 hours. When I first got my computer and that Yeti, I was doing some shows. I remember Zach was like, damn, he'd be on at 3:30, 4 in the morning. I used to be. When I first got that Yeti and got that Dell, man, I was doing them marathon old shows. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's how, but this time is the time I picked from like 17. From 17, I've always like come on like this time. So, and from when they took my other channel off was only a matter of weeks, so same time period. Most of the people, I imagine if anybody ever, it's not hard to refine me. It's not hard. So haven't really changed the name that much. Same people I've subscribed to before I subscribe to now, so. But a lot of them, they got hit under the Democratic stuff too. But so many distractions in the world. Instead of people worrying about each other. Worrying about each person. They want you worried about other people. And if you don't think they disrespect you and think you a joke, that Johnny Depp shit, that wasn't nothing but disrespect to the common people. That was just totally disrespect. That was like OJ trial kind of shit. I mean, didn't you see that in the OJ trial? It was the same kind of shit as in the OJ trial. You think this actress is really gonna be on TV like she snorted cocaine and that's an accident? There's nothing accident in every shot. There's never accident. She was told to do that shit. Whatever she did, she was told to do that shit. That shit was the OJ trial again. And people bought into it. Team Johnny, team whatever chick is. Come on. This is how simple they think you are, though. This is how easy brainwashed and distracted they think you are. And this is what gets me too is, so, okay. So the government says paying the melanated people any kind of tribute from being mistreated in the last 100 years. But yet they can send those people in Ukraine billions when we don't need $1 billion. I mean, the money you sent Ukraine, you could have easily cut me and my family a cool 50. You could have cut us all 50. All the melanated people, you could have gave us 50 million each with the money you sent to Ukraine. You could have gave us 50 melanated people 50 million each. And we would have used it differently than they used it. We would have bought things, of course. We wouldn't have used it for killing people or self-defending, I guess. But yeah. Oh, PJ, I had this Russian cat that said he could get that shit, and yeah, it seemed like it was a scam. But I had a Russian cat contact me and said they could get all that stuff, but it seemed like it was a scam. So the server they talked about though, I think is real, but the dudes that was doing it, I don't think they was the ones doing it. But I know there is a backup that Russia does do of YouTube. I know that. I definitely know that. But the people I was dealing with, I don't think they were connected. I think they had some of that information too, but I don't think it was them. I don't. But it's out there though. It is out there. But I don't think. I thought for a minute I was connected to the people, but end up not being connected to the people. So yeah. Especially the stuff on TalkShoe. Like if his seer ever tried to talk crazy, like he wasn't saying that shit. We had him. Well, I got my brother. You know, we can get more than a couple of witnesses to tell you what he was saying. It was all that paperwork bullshit, that paperwork scam. So, no, not to say that he should be held just for that. No. But I'm saying, you know, still was. And that's all you hear me say about the brother. I mean, he is a nice historian from his perspective. I mean, he tells part of the story. You know, we don't tell the. He dressed like Air, you know, but so did Noble Drew. My brother broke Noble Drew down. You know, Noble Drew went around the world as a musician. So, looked like this brother was kind of hustling too. Yeah, no disrespect to anybody, but it seems like he was hustling he was an entertainer for a good part of his life. And as my brother found out, some of the stuff he put out there was worthy, very worthy. Europeans used it. Europeans saw what he put together. And he's like, he's right. That's the way to put this shit together. My brother detailed that very well, and I agree. He had some good ideas when it came to some of the Moorish kind of, not even the Moorish ideas, some of the sovereignty ideas. There were ways he put this together that they used. He came up with some shit that they didn't even know about, and they benefited from it. I think my brother pointed out to the Vatican. Matter of fact, I would dare say that the way the Vatican Bank ended up turning had a little bit of what Noble Drew Ali talked about. You know, I got a book on the table called The Vatican's Banker. It's a little bit. Valerie, thank you for everything. Nice to see you. Call it like you see it. Some people don't like, they don't want the truth taught in school. They do not think, and this is what it comes down to, they do not think that melanated children and European children should sit in the classroom and be told how horrible European people were to melanated people in America. They don't think that should be taught anymore. They say it's enough. We know he was horrible. We got the country though. But that's what they don't want taught. That's what it is. They don't want that taught anymore. They want Columbus discovered America, and it was good for you niggas. We came over here, and we took over and brought the guns and brought the disease and brought the murder, brought the wickedness. You should be happy we did that. And one nigga pointed out, what did he say? That they gave us jobs. Another nigga pointed out that, you know, we would be a third. I mean, what you understand is spiritually how much we would have grown. We wouldn't needed that. Left alone, and you know the elders left. You know the elders left, and they wasn't necessarily the gods, but they didn't have to be there, and they had the means to escape. And I don't know if the rest of the nation was necessarily punished. I'll say this in some ways. I've said this before. I've said this especially about when they went into Puerto Rico and they went into Haiti. Some ways it was a very young civilization. And I've said that before. They were one of like pockets were a little more, but they were a very young civilization, almost too young. And you wonder. So if you understand that part too. See, they couldn't have went straight into Mexico in 1492. Don't think they didn't know about it, but they couldn't. They had to wait. They had to wait 20 more years, a few more guns, a little more disease. They figured out the dogs could play a part. So they really had to get their technology. They needed a few more years to get the technology together before they went into Mexico. And remember, Cortez got fucked up. He took 500 men and he got all killed, but what, 35 men at one point. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go. But yeah, I'm at the 3 minute mark. Yeah, cash money tonight. But definitely rest well, y'all. For real. Rest well. May the place be of your creation, ball field where you rest, be the ultimate place of joy for you. May the ultimate place of recovery for you. And may with all this recovery be undisturbed. After the rest of your time be safe. May you may home and may you get the same. Remember, love has no equal. What is doing that? Oops. Remember, love has no equal. Love just is. And moral, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear from the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But civilization would build into a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way, or your consciousness moving through. And as the mind would say, remember, I am another yourself. So use the desirabilities to see the other point of view. So, but this has been the Friday morning edition of the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your main man from Japan. One time I had the podcast from the can. Only place I could have quiet. I don't like I was in something like this all the time. But when I take it, I'm sounding perfect. I'm sounding like Luther. Shooby-dooby-doo. Shooby-doo-doo. Shooby-doo-doo. No, how did shooby-doo-doo. Y'all remember that? What that's from? Shooby-doo. That shit was bad. Shooby-doo-doo. Do y'all remember where that vibration came from? I ain't gonna tell you the song, but he hit that shooby-doo-doo. Shooby-doo-doo. Who can guess where that riff comes from? Shooby-doo. That shit was bad shit. Revived his career. But that's what he hit him with. Shooby-doo. That's gold. And you see, even being 61 years old, I can still be silly. And you just, it never leaves you. But you just want to take care of yourself the best way you know how. And just be better the next day. That's all. I don't know if even better the next day. Just try to do it smoother if you felt it wasn't smooth. That's all. Pay attention. Enjoy the moment. Love the moment. You have children young enough to be young, still look at them lovingly. I told my daughter, she go through shit. I'm like, motherfuckers love you. And you're protected, you're safe, and motherfuckers love you. So don't ever doubt that. No matter how dark it is, there's somebody out there that loves you. Because the first person that should love you is you. So no matter how dark it is, the love that you have for yourself, I'll pass it out. The love that you have for yourself will be enough. It's enough to keep you going despite the heavy burden. I mean, despite the heavy burden, I mean, what is the most they could do? They could put you on a cross and give you diamond underwear. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if they had a thing like, hey, you know, you could go on the cross, wear diamond underwear, I think I would be in that line. That's kind of, you know, like, hey, can I add some gators to that shit? You know, how about pink gators, you know, or like, oh, Gucci, some Gucci slippers, you know, give me the diamond underwear with the Gucci slippers with black and maybe a little gold on the toes. You know how the Gucci is. I think that would be enough. Like, is this you satisfied? I think I would be. Love Luther, definitely one of a kind. Oh, you know, my favorite Luther song is With Change. You know, that is my favorite. Him and Change. That Luther kills it. That's my freshman year, '79. But Luther with Change kills it. Kills it. The Look of Love. You talking about motherfucker that one thing I've always loved about, like David Ruffin is a prime example, the clearness. You know, you listen to that Orderly Temptation, is David Ruffin driven. Edwards ain't as clear as him. Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin words very clear. But Luther, when he sings Look of Love, or whatever it is with Change, Glow of Love, Glow of Love, it's like he's talking, but I mean, it's the clearest of a singer with Monster Group backing him, and Change is just killing it behind him, but he's just putting out them clear vocals, man. And I got the extended edition of that. That shit is bad. But that to me, I mean, I like some of the other Luther stuff, but I never liked one of his songs more than I like that one with him and Change. And he was in Kalamazoo for a while. Western Michigan told him he didn't have it. So he would always go back to Kalamazoo, and he would never do a concert on Western campus after that. He would come to Kalamazoo, but he wouldn't do a concert there. He always did it somewhere else when he would come. But that is my favorite Luther song, Glow of Love. And it's not that he's not at his peak, but vocal wise and having the right music around him, that, not to say he didn't have it better, but it's like that was really good. He had everything behind him. Monster band, monster production, and then he just kills it. Glow of Love, he kills it. That is my favorite. Superstar is one of my favorite. Okay. Superstar is one of your favorite. Okay. Yeah, I like that too. I mean, I liked most of Luther stuff. Sad guy, you know, that, and you know, we know they took him out, but just the way they make these people so sad sometimes. You could almost say like Michael Duncan and Luther, you know, they did them very similar. You know, the weight gain, weight drop, weight gain, weight drop. Michael Duncan, people don't realize that with him, how big as he was, they was making him some of the movies they'd make him drop. See, these ways they try to kill you. You know, if they know it's too much. And sacrifice. Here's the sacrifice right there. You know. And as I said, it's better to be shamed than to be killed. So, well, y'all, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, say less.